there's one over there.
So was that like the only trailer you need to watch? The Foreigner thing?
Just the end of disaster trailer one.
You don't need to watch it.
I already watched it. I saw it with you guys.
We're live now, yeah.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
We're live now, yeah.
I literally like,
wow, just full on sass.
I literally like, we're ready to go,
Like,
and then you guys
come on,
have a side conversation.
Yeah.
Welcome to the 147th episode of the GeekVerse podcast. Are you ready to get on your shine box? I am... It's a shout out to a guy that passed away. He's a very classic actor in Goodfellas. Yeah. I am the Clown Prince of Podcast, Travis Snail. Haven't used it in a while, so there we go. I'm alone apparently today. You know, I got...
Typically we go on a line,
just you here.
but...
Really? That's new.
I'll take over because you don't know what you're doing. I am the Nightfly, Dylan Musk. Oh, come on.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
you guys never
you have something prepared.
I am
clearly
the champion
of what?
GeekVerse Gauntlet and my life, Taylor Field. I got this nice belt here that, notice how Travis doesn't have anything shiny with him right now. You know, he may have at one point, but
I don't know, his bracelet's
we
like,
don't talk about that.
probably reflects some light.
It could, but not as much as this. Look at all this nice gold right here. And I put real rubies in here, because
Really,
Travis he wasn't able to afford real rubies.
I had those in there before.
Yeah, but I took them out and put
They
real
weren't
rubies.
real. Come on.
Yeah,
No,
yours
come on,
were fake.
Travis.
Then we'll get actual gold plating and some gold buttons in here too. Just
Cool.
really style
You
this
should
up.
put your actual name on it. You should take out this world and just put Taylor.
Yeah, I should. That's a good idea.
You could even just like throw this one out, get rid of it, and just
Yeah.
make your own.
Yes.
Burn a
You know what?
completely new
Yes,
one that
it's
only you have.
Not been stained
for this
by
one.
this former
Oh, stained.
fellow over here.
This guy's quite salty.
Right on.
You know what? Go to hell, you little cunt. So.
Oh.
You know what?
Oh!
Wow.
Yeah.
I've never heard the C word dropped on this cast before.
Yeah, that's the first.
Oh, very
Whoa.
violent.
Well, I'm the chair
Oh
of the
my
GeekVerse Gauntlet
gosh.
now
I
because
feel-
you can be the champion all you want. What happened?
This
What
isn't the
happened?
Gauntlet, though. This is the weekly cast where we
Yeah.
like to have friends,
I
family.
feel-
The
He's
kids
not
are
my
watching.
friend.
The
Listen.
kids are watching, Travis. What the fuck?
Little
the kids.
Jimmy just tuned in, and his mom was in the background and is like, was that the C word,
Yeah.
Jimmy? And Jimmy's like, I don't know what that is,
Well,
Mom.
little Jimmy, you go say that to your mother, and she's gonna give you the ass beating you deserve. You don't even talk about you can be the champion, but a few
Jimmy's
days,
a good kid.
a few days ago, a few days ago, last week,
I didn't know Jimmy.
you were embarrassed by Pan Sol, so you can celebrate all you want, but you lost pretty handily in Smash Bros.
You know
And
what?
now you failed Kyle.
Respectable man.
Kyle's supposed to be here tonight, but he's super depressed because you lost the gauntlet for him. I'm the champion. I mean, I'm the owner. I'm the one running everything now. I'm very excited. I'm going to make the gauntlet great again. I'm going to give you the gauntlet you truly deserve, and it's going to start with
that
getting the
wasn't
title
out of
off
a
him.
Trump interview.
What? You're the Trump here. But yeah, how do you feel?
Quote unquote Trump right there.
No. I just take quotes from great people, you
like
know?
Trump, it seems.
What do you have to say about Pan Solo?
You know what? Anything that Pan Solo is involved in is sketchy. We saw him in that wrestling match for brand supremacy, and that was cheesy as shit. He was like,
Cheesy, that's
and the fact that he reached out to you after, I don't know. That's just there's sketchy. There's shade all around behind that. Like he's in the background.
Mm-hmm.
He's like you may feel like you're pulling the strings of the puppet, but he's up there and you're Pinocchio down there, and he's just making you dance and like. It's just.
I don't think so, as I'm the head honcho now.
That's what he wants you to think. Are you the head honcho or is Pan Solo the
I'm
head
your
honcho?
boss, so yeah, I'm the head honcho.
Yeah, were you Pan Solo's boss?
Oh yeah, actually,
That's
he's my
what you think.
bitch.
No, you think so.
Anyways, there's been a lot that has transpired. Go check it all back on the Gauntlet. There was a title match that Taylor cheated to win. There was a match for Control of the Gauntlet, which I have won, thank goodness. We have Geek Mania coming out October 7th. That is the official date. It's going to be a 2-hour extravaganza. It's official. Taylor is versing Ruben for the title. Best of 5. Lots of matches take place there. I have a few other matches that I'm going to be announcing over the next few weeks. I'm going to give you the greatest show you've ever seen because just the talent level between myself and Kyle, so much. Rocking off this earth. We got Saw Retrospective.
Rocking off this earth.
Rocking it
I'll
off
just
this
take that one, folks.
Saw Retrospective. We have 2 episodes that have dropped. Next one I think is dropping either Sunday or Tuesday. Netflix and Fails coming back. We got a good John Travolta movie coming up, so that'll be good.
Mm-hmm.
Next week we'll have another newscast. I think we're going to talk about Mother. We were talking about doing Mother review, but people are kind of like, eh. And, you know, I honestly want to talk about some news as well.
Good reviews?
As more critics see it, it's very divisive. We'll say that. There's a lot of people that are saying the trailers are not what the movies are. But I think we'll do like a mini review on the newscast next week because
sounds like it.
It's a good idea to do news because once October hits, there's not gonna be much chance of news. Like we got Jigsaw, Thor, Justice League, Star Wars, so. It's good to get some newscasts before we get bombarded with movie reviews. So, I think that's about it. Like I said, just keep it tuned on the channel, whether it's YouTube or SoundCloud. I'll be dropping a podcast soon announcing some of the Geek Mania matches, and that is everything to do with all the housekeeping today. So
now, before we move on,
oh god, now what?
Earlier we were talking about how you're the big head honcho, Geek Mania.
No, he was talking about that.
I know, he was
were.
talking. Well, he mentioned it a couple times.
That's more true.
I feel like Tyler's going to ask for something, and now he's giving me
I feel like
compliments.
you're kind of giving me the shit end of the stick with this. You know, I've been in... I haven't been counting, but at least half of like the title matches that have happened in the GeekVerse Gauntlet. And
That's true.
You haven't even given me a match for the Geek Mania. I feel like there's some shade going down. I don't know if you're throwing shade at me.
I've only been in control for 2 days. There's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot.
What do you have to say for yourself?
There's a lot of paperwork.
I think you
and a lot of people usually like to be at the short end of my
There's
stick.
no paperwork.
I feel like you took this position without realizing what you were getting into, and you're just not fit for the job.
Well, then what do you want? What do you want?
I'm gonna do your job for you, and I would like to challenge good old D-Mus over here to a unofficial title rematch.
Unofficial?
Not for any actual title.
I had to think about what that means.
But you know, back in the day, we had our title match. You beat
that was a banger.
It was a
the
banger.
The fans that on the polls have rated that as the best GeekVerse match.
There's no polls yet. There's no polls yet.
Yes, there is.
The greatest banger of all GeekVerse.
The greatest banger.
Ever.
So you're saying you want a rematch to try and rectify that loss?
I think not even that I want it. Well, I do want it, but I feel like GeekVerse needs it. You know, I feel like some of these title matches kind of sus, and I feel like
he's
into.
How are they sus if you're into? Are you saying that it's
because I didn't win them? That's what.
Okay.
All right, I thought that was like kind of gonna go unsaid, but
yeah.
All right. So D-Mus, how you feeling?
Name a date, name a game. I'm fucking down.
Geek Mania. That's what it's gonna be. There, I'm doing my job. There you go. The second match that's officially.
Trying to take the credit.
You heard? Oh fuck off!
Get out of here.
You guys need to text me and talk to me.
You know this is part of being the chairman is that you have to take the shit from all of the competitors because we're divas.
I got it before. This is no fair, but there you go. Second match confirmed. Dylan Mus versus Tyler Briggs. They'll decide later on, but I think that's a good little match. You guys don't have
little. It's actually going to be grand. It's going to be
the greatest match of the GeekVerse Mania to date.
There you go. There's only been one. So
it's actually called Geek Mania.
Yeah. Just
your confidence inspired me.
Who named it? This man?
Yeah,
don't care.
Why is it a drain here? Touch my belt,
Georgie.
Come get it.
Speaking of Pennywise, we're gonna get into news. It's a GeekVerse newscast. We're gonna start with movies, and then we're gonna go TV, and then video games. So you can either tune later or watch the whole way through because it's just our glorious, pretty faces. You're gonna watch the whole thing or listen to our sweet voices. We did an It review, so you can go back and listen to that. It's actually one of our biggest episodes so far. So thank you there too. I think it was just 2 hours, but it's just because it was late.
Maybe.
So
very late. I was very tired.
So not only has our podcast been a huge success, the movie, huge success. Third biggest opening of the year. Biggest horror opening of the year. Biggest opening in September. Second biggest rated R movie. Biggest midnight screening.
Were there 2 movies in front of it?
No, it was second, so it was just Deadpool.
For biggest this year.
Beauty and the Beast and Guardians.
Oh, okay.
So they beat Wonder Woman, they beat Spider-Man, they beat Fate of Furious, Planet of the Apes, very good. Biggest midnight opening in September, biggest midnight opening for a rated R movie, for a horror movie, and it's the biggest opening of a horror film of all time. The one before that was 58 million. This made 123 million. So
what was that previous movie?
I think Paranormal Activity, a few years ago. So obviously this has been a big success. We talked about minor spoilers, but if you don't know this by now, you're living under a rock. There was a tag that said Chapter 2, and obviously we're getting a sequel. But I was talking about it with Emily, and I had a question to pose to you guys, because I think it's fair, and this is kind of a bread and butter topic. I don't think it'll be super long, but I think it's a fair question to ask, because we live in a world where movies, TV, games are all about money. They're all about success. They're all about turning things out. And we know the story, and if you guys don't know, then there's always going to be a chapter 2, and usually the way it goes, that's going to be it. As far as you follow the books and the miniseries, they're going to follow whatever happens to these characters, and that would be it. The question I wanted to pose to you guys
I can't wait for this fucking movie to be out of here. I hate the puns on everything.
Yeah. I think It Chapter 2 is actually better, because at least you always can say Chapter 2, right? It's never just going to be It. So I think that would make things a bit better. But the question I want to pose to all you guys, because we live in a world that's driven by money, and we've seen this with a few things, like we talked about this last year with 13 Reasons. It's one book, seemed like a one solid season, like, hey, we're doing more. Do you think there's a possibility that we get more than just the Chapter 2? Do you think, because of it's like not even just like a success, it's a massive success. It's expected to only make 60 million opening weekend. Doubled that. Like, it's massive. Like I said, if you think of those movies, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, huge, and it did better than those opening weekend. How do you feel it's going to happen? Because I don't think it's as cut as dry as people think, like, oh, that's the way the books are. It's like, I feel like we're in a day and age where, like, that doesn't happen anymore, where it's like, okay, this is a perfect ending, but it's like, oh, well, you know, look at all this money we made. So that's the question I want to pose to you guys, because I've not actually heard anybody talk about this as far as that. So
I mean, one thing is that directors, big movie directors these days, have a total hard-on for trilogies. That just seems to be so common, and even when it's unnecessary, you know, like The Hobbit is a clean example.
Oh,
like, even if that was 2 movies, that probably would have, you know, could have been made them a lot better, right?
Yeah.
Could have been 1 as well, but I mean, yeah, I don't know. I feel like I can't remember the last time a series just like did 2 as like that was their plan all along, and that's, you know, how they wanted to tell the story. And I mean, at least with it, based on, I haven't read the book, but based on the original, like the story, if they're going to tell that story or at least get to that same point, then they could easily do that in 2. And if they're doing 3, it's strictly for money.
And is that something?
I'm trying to picture like how that would work, because that I feel like the structure, if how I can picture in my head, like the first movie is, you know, the storyline of the children and what they go through, and then, you know, the second chapter, the adults. So there is potential, but I mean, think about it. The first one here was already over 2 hours long.
Yeah.
So if they do that again, I don't know how they could really drag that out. And I mean, yes, there's probably a ton of stuff from the book they could drag that I don't actually know about.
Yeah.
But I honestly, like, even though I do feel like it's, I can't picture where they would go with the story, I don't think it's unlikely either, just because of the whole trilogy.
Yeah.
Trilogy thing.
Well, the other thing I'll ask you, I think there's 2 things they could do. Is one, they might just do like a separate thing where it's not even those characters.
That's what I was thinking.
Or the other thing that I've thought of as well is they could do, which I'm not the biggest fan of, but they could do a prequel as far as they are really heavy in that first movie about, you know, the black spot and all these things that happen. Like,
right.
And that's where you could...
That's a good point, actually, because they talk, like, specifically the black spot. They bring it up like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
But I don't know what it is. It's like a club or something, but...
And in the book, it was a place that, like, racist groups took down, because I think, I can't remember if that's what it was called, or, like, that's what the event, or just the event name of it, but... Because there's that, there's even stuff where they say that goes back to all the way, like, that Myers-Briggs, like something called, like, the Easter Egg Massacre, or stuff like that. That's where I think it could going, as more of the prequel. Not that I would want that, and that's the thing I'd ask you next, like, obviously that's something they could do. Are you open to anything more? Because, like, the book and the series are pretty clear-cut, like, when it ends, that's the end. Like, there's been, in other Stephen King books, because the whole thing is, like, a universe, there's been, like, alludes to Pennywise and It, but there's never been a full-on, like, It 2 or It sequel.
Yeah.
Is that something, not even that you think, is that something you would personally want? Because you know there's, like, a clear-cut ending, and there's a goal, like, hey, we're going to get to here, and then after that...
I mean, personally, I'm not opposed to it, because I really enjoyed the movie, and I thought it was refreshing and fun, and it definitely seemed like something new. So, even though, obviously, it is, like, technically a remake or a reboot, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm not opposed to it. I mean, if they keep making good movies and movies that are scary and they go different paths, like, sure, I'm not opposed to it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like if they did it at a rate of like once a year, that would be way too much. And I don't think I'd want that just for the quality of it. Just take a couple of years. I don't know. I guess that's that.
Fair enough. Taylorfield?
I mean, you're not wrong at all in the fact that the directors love trilogies nowadays, and it is all over.
Well, Dylan brought that up, not me. Don't give me the credit.
Yeah, no, but you implied
Set
it
the
to.
groundwork.
I'm not.
You get dragged into this one, Travis.
I disagree with them. I think it would not disagree, but I think it would be the director would go, "Hey, I told part 1 and part 2, and I'm out." And it'd be the studio like, "Hey, we're gonna make another one." And I don't think because
So
he's
he
a big
gets-
fan of the book, there'd be somebody else. And I don't know if I envision it the same way as like it'd be a trilogy. I envision it the way that they might be like, "Hey, let's make like 3 to 4 more of these." You know, like that's the way. Like you look at a Saw, you look at Paranormal Activity, like
Yep.
those get to high 7s. Oh, there's high 7.
Nice.
They just get the 7s and 8s or the high 10s, you know, stuff like that. Like that's the way I envision it. Is like not so much a trilogy, but a franchise, like something that's the way it could happen.
That's what really kills horror movies. Like when you look at it, Paranormal
Makes them
Activity,
not so
Friday the
scary.
13th. Yeah, it takes away from them. And even with that, like, yeah, Chucky, Halloween, I could go on. I mean, it's just that's what really kills it. And this, for the first time in a long time, it worked wonders. It made horror movies, like, it set the bar so high for itself and for what we could see come out of horror movies in the future. And I would hate to see them kill it themselves because they created something beautiful. I love the It movie. I mean, I gave it a 10 out of 10. It was fantastic. Part
Spoil
2,
for the review. Wow.
maybe it was a 1 out of 10. You never know. Watch the review.
Well,
That
Point
doesn't
zero.
make sense.
I
You
just
gave it-
I saved myself. So
Uh,
you know, I think chapter 2 absolutely make it happen because I mean it's so fitting and there was so much that they could explore.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying they're not going to
I think
stop
they're gonna
now. we call it chapter 1, but guess what? We're not making chapter 2. We saw all this money and we're like, know what? We're going to cut our losses now.
Dark Tower 2 and 3. That's what we're gonna focus on. No, but I think like doing it like kids than adults. I mean, unless they did like chapter 3 when they're like grandparents or something, that'd be kind of weird. But I mean, like they'd have to they'd have to handle it very, very carefully. I mean, number 2, I'm excited for that because I feel like there's no problem for them shifting the tone around and everything. But I mean, the money's there. I could easily see them do like a prequel focusing on one of the events like you mentioned. I mean, for me, out of my favorite event out of those would be like when the settlers first come there and they build like the well and like just to see kind of it not having the sewers to really operate in and just see a different environment because I feel like
Let's get some
that
fucking
would be
pitchforks and swords up in here.
pitchforks. You know, he's jumping
Yeah.
through the trees.
Get
You
the
know, you
origin
got
story.
wildlife.
Through the trees.
I mean,
Wildlife.
it's just that would be totally different. I mean, we have of course the Easter egg hunt, but that's in the city again, and we have the Black Swan. That's in the city again too. Really change up the entire theme for another movie. I feel like it would really.
You could change the era too with that. Like if you just did present day stuff, it's gonna be the same. But if you did all those different events, you can go really old timey and whatnot. So,
Yeah, but that being said, even if they jump to the future after like Georgie and them are dead from old age, not because of it, like then
Future.
Well,
I hate to spoil George.
yeah. Have you seen the preview for it? I think you know George's fate. I don't know.
He's floating, man.
Yeah. Briggs.
I mean, I still really hope they do the whole 27 years thing, so chapter 2 will be 27 years from now.
Yeah.
It comes back. All the child actors are now adults. 27 years later, works
in
out
real life
perfectly.
or
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
wow, okay.
And then chapter 3, if they made another 27 years later, they're all grandparents, and it
As
comes
it
and
is.
just kills them because they're old and they can't really do anything about it.
So we get our kids
knows?
to review it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I
your
think they
kid.
should just do the 2, finish it off with that, keep it clean. I mean, it'd be cool to see like a sort of spin-off sort of thing, nothing that tries to follow the books, but kind of like do their own thing with it.
Mhm.
Like,
You have a lot of room, like with a character who
Exactly.
can transform into shit.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
you really
it'd be really interesting to see like,
places to go to.
I know origin stories kind of can be like hit or miss, but like
Yeah.
have like an origin as like why he likes the clown so much, and because obviously he wasn't always a clown.
No.
So like
Sometimes
what
you're
kind
born
of
a clown.
influence to make Pennywise like how he is in the
Kids
Current
like
story.
it, you know?
That was a cool thing too, like in the movie, because when he was introducing himself to Georgie, he said Pennywise, like he nodded at himself, like he had like some kind of like solid memory that he was
Dancing
reminiscing
clown.
to do. Yeah. So that gives some merit to like
Yeah.
his origin story.
I don't know. I'd still be much happier if they just do the 2 and be like, you know, we did a good
They
thing,
didn't pop
and
off
we're gonna
the-
leave it as a good thing.
Yeah.
And 27 years from now, someone makes another reboot, and
Yeah.
it's
27.
also really good. Well, that's the lore,
That is.
and it's been 27 years
It
since
has
the
been
last
20.
movie.
Yeah.
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, like I'm somebody like I talked about last year with 13 Reasons
I'm
Why.
somebody.
Okay.
I think that was unnecessary, Dylan.
Yeah, just cut me right off. You know, I'm used to it.
I mean, it's okay to trash talk him every once in a while.
I wasn't trash talking.
So no, like we talk about this a lot with 13 Reasons Why as far as this book, and you know, there has a clear endpoint. It's like, oh, they're making another season 2, and it's like from a business standpoint, I was like, oh, it makes sense, but from a quality wise, it doesn't. And I've talked about this with many other things. So I'm gonna sound like a huge hypocrite here, but I'm kind of for them making like just 10 of them and getting, I don't know why, getting to like the really bad horror parts. Because you know why? At the end of the day, there's a lot of terrible Nightmare on Elm Street movies. It's my favorite franchise, my favorite horror movie. But at the end of the day, all those bad ones don't affect the first one for me. I still go back and watch it one the most. I still like it the most. I still can have moments where I remember being scared about it. And that's why I look at this as I think it's definitely quality-wise better just to do 1 and 2. But the 2 things for me is like, 1, the obvious is just like, I don't know how they see all this money and they leave it on the floor, you know, because even if whatever it be chapter 3, or if they call the movie like Pennywise or whatever they call it, like they're leaving money on the floor no matter what. And like I said, maybe it's good to show some restraint, and I can respect them for that. But at the same time too, it's like with the guy who played Pennywise, I was a big fan and I did want to see more. And it's one of these things that he's really young, and it's like, do you really just want to do the 1 and 2 and then be done with it? You know, I'm thinking from like a business standpoint of like, we got this young guy, I think he's in his early 20s, and it's like, he could do this for a while, you know, and even if he gets older, it doesn't really matter because he's a supernatural clown. You can make him look fine, you know, and this is the way, like, I don't know whether it would be a continuation or a prequel, but I do want to see more, as long as, I guess, if 2 just sucks, I don't think it will, but if 2 just sucks, I guess the tone will shift and everything, but if 2 can come out very similar to this, I'm just kind of for it, and I don't know why, because all the bones of my body would say, like, no, just do the 2 and dip out. I'm the same way with the Hobbit, like, oh, they should have just done the 2, you know, but, like, I don't know why, just because something with it and Pennywise to me just looks like you could adapt it and do more with it. With the Hobbit, it's kind of like, well, they did do more, and that was Lord of the Rings, right? And who knows, maybe Stephen King sees all this money, he's like, I'm going to write another book. That's really possible that he could do that. He did that with The Shining a few years ago. So I'm kind of for it. If they end up doing a bunch of ones and bad ones, I know I'll be sitting here in 10 years being like, man, they should have stopped at 2. What were they thinking? You know, but it's like...
It's because of you. They listen to this. Like, that Travis guy knows what's up.
And I'm always usually saying, like, no, don't do this. This is the way to go. But, like, there's something about it where it's like, I can just keep watching more of these, and you could do, whether it is in the past or more present day or something like that. I think there's more stories to be told. Are they going to be good ones? I don't know. But, like... I just want them to keep Bill Skarsgård around and not let him get out of the way, and then they do a reboot and this and that. Like, I could be wrong, but I feel like whether it's what I want or don't want, I think we will no matter what get something. I don't know if it's a prequel. I don't know if it's chapter 3. I just feel like that unless there's some clause where Stephen King be like, no, you're not doing this. Like,
what if they cross him over with the Dark Universe and pop it in there?
Oh, the Dark? I thought you meant Dark Tower. Well, I would just want Dark Universe just like him to kill them, like all, you know. Just,
wow.
Yeah, like...
Just everyone.
Yeah,
like...
like...
just end the universe.
Yeah.
He'd cross over, kill all the characters, and then leave.
Yeah.
That would be... Honestly, that'd be like, imagine like Batman coming into the MCU, killing all of them, and then just like leaving.
There is a comic called
Deadpool.
No, Deadpool kills Marvel Universe and he destroys it, but it's kind of like a satire and everything. But
it is Deadpool.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know, and I don't think it would be the same director. I think he'll do part 2, and then he'll dip out and be like, hey, I told my story. But I think we are gonna get more. I think it is an inevitability. If you don't like that, I would buckle up, you know, like, nothing stays dead forever. Look, Saw had its final chapter, and in 3 weeks there's another one coming out, so, same thing as Pirates. Wasn't this last preview the final adventure? And they're like, yeah, we might do that 6th one.
No, because how did they always say that? It
the
was
final
like
adventure
the beginning of the final adventure.
Yeah, so we don't know how long this final adventure goes, so... Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested to see. I'm just interested to get to part 2. That's more or less. I'm interested to see who they start casting as the adults for the next little while, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm curious if they'll... Take more like unknown actors, up and comers. I mean, it's hard to compare it to the kids. Like, obviously, we have the one guy who is in Stranger Things.
Yeah.
So people know about him, Finn Wolfhard. But then, other than that, like, I don't really know any of them. But they're also kid actors, so it's like not that surprising.
Yeah, we don't have a kid actor.
Yeah, I wonder if they will go with unknown people or some big people like, you know, Paul Rudd or something.
The thing is, Paul Rudd for Richie.
That would be sick.
I think the biggest thing is we don't know because it was such a massive success. They could go really either way. If it was just a hit, like made its money, made a bit more, you'd be like, okay, they're gonna probably lowball and get some like decent actors, but no one's gonna break the bank. But like right now, they've made like George Clooney, Brad Pitt money. They're not gonna get those guys. But I'm saying you could go and get someone like a Chris Pratt, because a lot of people want him to play Ben. I don't want that. I don't see Chris Pratt playing Ben. I don't get that fan cast. But like, I think they just found like the most good-looking guy. Yeah, I think they just took the most good-looking guy in Hollywood. They're like, yeah, that's Ben because he gets in good shape. But it's like Ben's just like a cooler like guy. Like he's just like he's more confident guy. And he's lost some weight. He's not a fucking beefcake, you know. Like John Ritter played Ben in the fucking miniseries. John Ritter is a good-looking guy, but he's not going to be on GQ's like number 100.
He actually was though.
Oh, really was he? Yeah. What year?
Number 43 in 2002.
I was gonna say be careful because he passed away pretty early on.
Not before 2002.
What about like a Shia LaBeouf or something like that?
Who? What character is he gonna play?
As the kid we were talking about, Chris Pratt could be.
Ben?
Yeah.
No, that's awful fan cast.
What? I don't know, I think Shia LaBeouf can really act.
Shia
You have to-
LaBeouf could be like one of the fucking demons that
He could play Henry Bowers.
I think he sets the bar for confidence though in this day and
he
age.
sets the
No,
bar for
he
the psychopath.
doesn't. Yeah,
I'm down. Like I love Shia LaBeouf.
I think the Henry Bowers casting is pretty spot on. Like you get this guy all bent up. No, Ben needs to be the heart of the show. But we do that another day. Maybe we'll get that when the movie gets closer. But do we have anything more to add on this potential? Well, no, we won't hear anything until Chapter 2. But I want to talk about before. Because after Chapter 2, when you see all these podcasts like, oh, is there going to be a Chapter 3 announcement? You can jump back here 2 years before and be like, we told you first. Hashtag Travis told you. Or I'm just wrong.
How much did you say it made again?
Well, right now it's made in America. The opening was like 123 million, but I think it's at 261 now overall.
What is that in Canadian currency?
What? $1.
Like $12 billion.
It was
Yeah.
projected 50 million for the weekend.
For the North American wing, it was projected for 50 to 60, so it's doubled.
Fantastic.
Yeah. It made it that projection in one day, and there's lots of stuff where it hasn't opened in some markets. America obviously had all those storms, which a shout out to any of you that hopefully you're all safe, but like that hurt the market as well. So it's massive. It's interesting going to be how it does. That's not English. It's going to be interesting to see how it does. Yeah, to see how it does this week, because horror movies usually have a huge drop-off, but I don't think it will. I've already seen the second time. I know people that are going to see it a second time. Like,
Did you notice anything different the second time?
yeah, minor spoilers. So there's a scene where, where Ben is reading that stuff about the massacres?
Yeah.
And behind him, the librarian, every time he flips a page, is getting closer, and she's like, has this huge evil smile, and then when he snaps out of it, she's gone. And the balloon is there. Yeah, I never noticed it.
Did you see that online somewhere and then look out for it?
No. I saw it the first time, I saw it the second time, and then I listened to a reviewer that I brought up the first time. So I was glad I didn't listen to any reviews, because some people have brought up, so some people have caught it. But I don't know why I didn't catch it, because you'll watch it, it's super obvious. It's actually annoying that I didn't even catch it the first time. Like, it's right there, and she's just like, she's standing there, and she's like, and she gets like bigger and bigger, and then she's just gone when the balloon's there. It's the very first time when he is in the library, and there's little stuff and just.
It's funny. I remember like during those scenes that there was people in the background, but I never really noticed that there was like a.
I feel like I'm surprised I didn't notice that, because I was looking at like the people in the background during those scenes, and it looked like they were frozen.
Yeah,
Kinda
well, she kind of was, but she only moves when she's off screen. You never see her, and there's little things like I noticed like. One of the bullies named Patrick, who like kind of goes pretty early, like he like at one point when the boys walk by, he like licks his lips, and we talk about this in the review, but in the book there's some like really gay like overtones with them and whatnot. But yeah, when Richie walks by, he like licks his lips looking at Richie, and I didn't catch the first time. I was like, yeah, there's stuff that I noticed the second time that made me even like it more. So
he's like, I love Stranger Things.
Yeah, so I actually would give it a 9.9 now,
as opposed to
a 9.5.
Ooh. Oh wow.
Yeah, because there's still that 0.1. Check out the review.
There's still that hidden thing.
Mm-hmm. So, anything else on it?
Negative.
Check out our review. We got in-depth on it.
We did.
It was a pretty good review.
We jumped right in there.
Star Wars, been lots of talks about this week. Lots of stuff going on. When me and Taylor were talking about it, we talked in depth.
It's a lot of tease.
Yeah, a lot of tease. We talked in depth. You can go back and listen to that podcast. We got in depth and what the? Okay.
Saying death.
Boy, they have a new director and it's coming on December. I'm gonna stop spinning around. What me and Taylor?
Old director.
What? And the old director. Yeah. What we want to talk about, me and Taylor didn't on the cast, is it is now coming out a week after Wonder Woman, too. So I want to get your guys' opinions on that. But also, Dylan and Tyler, you guys, we've not even talked or heard what you guys thought about, like, this whole...
We don't talk,
kerfuffle.
except for podcasts. We're not really friends.
Yeah, it's in the contract. But what do you guys think about the director replacement? And what do you think about this potential...
Right.
Obviously, there could be some movement, but what do you think about this potential... Country Woman comes out December 13th, too, and then episode 9 comes out the 20th.
Yeah. Well, I mean... I actually had dinner with JJ like a couple weeks ago, so he told me about it. So
Really?
I already knew. I guess I forgot to tell you guys, or we just haven't done a news.
I thought he was just drunk.
He's my friend. Yeah.
No.
We have dinner all the time. We
He
find
told me
food.
that like he hangs out with you to be nice, but he doesn't really enjoy his time.
Oh, really?
He feels like it's a chore.
Because he
like
told
when
me,
you have to do the Star Trek movies.
he told me other than myself, everybody he hangs out with, he's just collecting dirt. So one day he's gonna make like
Right.
these movies showing all this
Yeah, he
stuff.
told
like,
me that. He tells you that.
Oh, really? Yeah. He told me that he told you that.
No, he didn't. I was there.
JJ's my friend, my real friend.
Well,
Go back for years. We've had
Yeah.
multiple dinners. I've had him guest on the cast in the corner. You know?
Okay.
Yeah. I got him to sign the deal for the
I have a
director
question.
for the documentary.
How much creative freedom did he get with Force Awakens?
We'll never know. I think I said at most, I bet it was a 50-50 between them and the studio. I think at most.
Okay.
I honestly do.
Okay. And then the second one is who's the director of that?
Ryan Johnson. He did Looper, some really famous Breaking Bad episodes, some
Right.
other movies.
And so that's probably the same. I obviously the creative direction he already had something that he had to continue.
Yeah.
So he has less naturally there,
Yeah.
but he can kind of go where he wants with
The
it
Marvel
to
method,
some
I think.
degree.
Yeah.
And then I guess JJ kind of gets to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like Force Awakens enough. Like I've mentioned this before, but on rewatches, it's like I didn't quite like it as much as the initial hype when we first saw it.
How'd
Honestly.
you feel about when we watched it all together, which you can check out in December, or you can go to Patreon and get it early. We did a commentary track, because we broke some good stuff down for you. Did that?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean,
I hate it.
well, there's like that. Obviously, that helps because you guys are big nerds and you know about these things, and you've watched the movie more times than I have.
I watched it last night.
3 times or something.
Yeah.
And I mean, even since then, like that was the only thing I'd ever seen Adam Driver in. But now I've seen him in Logan Lucky, and I really like that movie. So it kind of just. I feel like I just like his character a bit more in Star Wars now. Which,
Well, I think
it
you can
just
see
happened,
it's not
right?
the only thing he can do, right? He's not just like
Yeah.
stern, awkward guy. Like he's
Yeah.
a really talented actor.
I mean, I've only seen him in 2 things, but the vast difference in those 2 things is like this guy is pretty good. So, yeah, I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be a good movie. Is that your? I think mostly for me it comes down to the other guy who was going to do it originally is the Jurassic World guy,
Yeah,
right?
Paul
And that's
Trevorrow.
pretty much the only thing he's done that I would know. at least.
Yeah, and he did a movie this year that people call one of the worst movies ever, which I don't know. I've not
What
seen it.
movie?
It's called The Book of Henry. I've not seen it.
Ah.
I didn't know that actually.
Based on the book.
of Henry. I didn't know that Bill from It is actually in it. I saw a preview of Book of Henry last night, and yeah.
Bill Skarsgård or Billy,
Do
the kid.
they call him Billy? Yeah, I guess Billy. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Fact Friday.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, so
Thursday.
I saw him. I saw Jurassic World, and it's a decent enough movie, but I've never rewatched it, and I don't know if I ever will. Like it was fun, and I like Chris Pratt, but it was just. I mean, you look back in hindsight, and it's like I don't know, that movie was alright. Like it was. I've kind of forgotten about it, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think J.J. Abrams just has more experience. Obviously, he's already done a Star Wars movie. He's done the Star Trek movies. He's done a bunch of other shit. He's a cool dude. I always love having dinner with him because he always just brings the strangest, recipes and ingredients and stuff like that.
Mm.
He's pretty rich. He's pretty loaded, right?
He paid for all mine.
So I'd rather have J.J. than Colin
Trevorrow.
tomorrow. Colin tomorrow.
On tomorrow. He'll direct a Star Wars movie tomorrow.
Ew.
Hey.
But yeah, I'm curious. It'll be weird though to see. Okay, JJ does the first and third. Maybe because obviously when he did the first, he had ideas. Oh, where is this going to go? Like, what direction are they going to take this? And so it's like I'm sure things that the director for the second one like those aren't all the things that he had in mind, right? So it's probably going to go different directions. He's going to have to kind of wrap it up, and I feel like it has potential to make it a little bit messy, honestly, because he might see some things that like, oh, I actually really wanted these things to happen in the second one, or I wanted these things to like just happen throughout the rest of this trilogy, and then they didn't happen already. So now I got to kind of crab him in the third one. I don't know. It could get messy, but I think he's a better pick than Colin. Anyway.
And any thoughts on the potential of the Wonder Woman being very close to that, a week apart?
What one comes first, actually?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman comes
2,
first?
yeah.
I don't think that will hurt Star Wars at all, really. I mean, obviously there is a lot of crossover between those two, but I mean, if they're not the same night, then I don't think it's actually much of an issue at all.
That'd be a great double feature. Yeah. Taylor Field?
Um,
Obviously, you already talked about Contra.
yeah. There's not much really to go with that. But one thing I will say is I can definitely see JJ really doing a lot of like chatting and corresponding with Ryan to actually like see.
JJ's
in
probably
the corner.
Not like that.
yeah. You don't get the
It's
privilege
a
of
voice
knowing
that can't be replicated.
I think JJ's already seen Last Jedi. I would beg to.
Yeah. So you've seen it then, obviously, since you're such good friends.
Of course, yeah. I'm just not embargo, you know.
Have you seen it?
I've seen it a few times.
Oh, a few times, Travis.
I've seen it 10 times.
Oh.
I've seen it 11.
I meant 10 times just today.
I'm done with this guy.
So that's my life.
I think I put a lot of thought into this. You know, I feel like Wonder Woman, like, it could budge. I don't feel like it's gonna move, to be honest.
Really?
I don't see it moving. I feel like because we're really close now, and I feel like they would have
2019.
Oh, 2019. Sorry, I was thinking Last Jedi. Yeah. Fudge. What year?
And really, you thought Wonder Woman 2 was coming out in December? We just had Wonder Woman 1 in June? That's a quick fucking turnover. Damn.
I'm too far. I'm in the future. That's right. Okay, you know, maybe they could change it. But I feel like it really depends on how like their other movies are gonna do. Like I feel like they're waiting to see. Let's see how Justice League's gonna do. Let's see how like our Flash movie, how our which we have to wait and see. So, that being said, if it rises to the top and it's like fantastic, then sure, maybe they might have the confidence to be like, you know what, we're gonna pull the Passengers in Assassin's Creed and keep it there a week before Star Wars. Which, you know, at the end of the day, I don't recommend doing that, but they feel like they could. So, and then again, it was Star Wars. Wonder Woman claimed that spot already first, right? And then Star Wars came in after.
Yeah.
So that's really like. Phew.
Wait, what is it?
Pew.
One more time?
Pew. I definitely don't see Wonder Woman affecting Star Wars at all. I mean, it's the final chapter for this trilogy. There's no reason to think Star Wars is just...
Final Adventure begins.
Final Adventure begins. There's no way to think Star Wars is not going to do good, unless Rian Johnson just totally poops on screen. I mean, he's just going to
I mean, there are worse things that could happen.
There could be. I don't see Star Wars 9 being bad. I mean, like, it's going to be... We're going to be anticipating, like, a great film here. I mean, sure, there's the memes coming out for J.J. directing.
You're the one spreading them.
I'm not... I see them, and I gotta share the load, you know? So...
That accent.
So, yeah. That's where I'm at.
Nice. You know, I'll keep it short and simple. JJ, great guy.
I knew him first.
Well, there's a from out the window. It's hard to replicate.
I could not come close.
Like, even if I asked you right now to repeat what it sounded like you probably wouldn't even have the slightest clue.
I don't know what it sounded like.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was nice. I know that. It was very soothing. And I realized then that I could just go home and my day would be pretty alright.
It'd be pretty alright.
Pretty good day.
It'd be at least
Dylan didn't let me in the house, but it's like, you know, it's pretty good.
I'm sorry. He's very exclusive.
You know, JJ,
he's very exclusive.
he's very high on the priority list.
Yeah.
But good guy. You know, I'm happy with him doing it. I mean, I really enjoyed Force Awakens. I've actually only seen it once still.
It's on Netflix.
So
It's everywhere.
I'll probably watch it again at some point.
Not for long on
But,
Netflix.
We're gonna talk
True.
about
If you see a clown in the
Foreshadowing.
sewer with a DVD, don't tell us.
I won't. DVDs, wow.
that. He'll be
I've
calling
been talking about
VHS
those
actually.
years.
He'll be
The
calling.
secret VHS edition.
He'll be
Oh, no.
calling tomorrow.
So yeah, I'm happy with that. I don't think he can do anything that would ruin the film.
Really?
I think it'll be a good film no matter what. I'll enjoy it. And with it going up against Wonder Woman, I think that's not even like a matchup in any way. That's like my
Star was getting taken out.
it's just, you know, it's like Han Solo versus Taylor Field.
I won't argue there.
You know, it'll be real easy.
At least I'm looked at as Wonder Woman.
I mean, Star Wars is just such an established series.
It is.
It has like very established, but I feel like just the hype for it, and with the end of the trilogy and everything, whereas Wonder Woman is just like a movie in the middle, and it's the second one. I mean, and especially if Justice League doesn't absolutely kill it, I feel like a lot of hype's going to. If anyone's going to suffer, Wonder Woman. No, I think Wonder Woman needs to change that date.
Yeah, I'll play the two scenarios. One, if they stay there, they have a really good opening weekend, and then it drops off pretty quickly. Star Wars will gobble up everything. Wonder Woman, and I guess just in the point two, I don't have any points on point one because I think they'll 100% move. I know they have the date there first, but if they don't move, they're being idiotic, and they're smart people over there. Yeah, they've made some bad decisions sometimes with some of their movies, but I don't think they're idiots. They're, like, we've talked about a lot in our group chat when we talk about, like, you see the dip that Apes had opposed, like, the last one. That was, like, kind of the reverse, and I think even Spider-Man Homecoming got hurt a little bit from Spider-Man coming out and the week after Apes coming out. I think when you front-load movies like that back-to-back, it's too much, and consumers are going to decide, especially people nowadays, you know, like, popcorn costs a lot, tickets cost a lot, so it's like they can't see, unless they're us, so they got a podcast. They don't go out to see everyone, you know, they'll wait for a cheap Tuesday, this or that, so I
spend a lot of money on movies, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't think there's a chance in hell Wonder Woman stays, and there's a lot of people that comic book history or in 20 because people kept going back because I think Star Wars proved that like a big December movie can work, and there's families in town, you go see it.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't think Wonder Woman can be that anymore. I think they want it to be. I think they'll bump it to November because that's when Justice League is coming out, so it kind of makes sense. I don't think they'll bump it into like the next year, which would be 2020, and I think they have to because I think Star Wars, they won't get those repeat viewings. Star Wars will get those repeat viewings. So that's Star Wars, yeah, unless something goes abysmal and it turns into like prequel quality. But I think Disney, the machine, will not allow it to get that way. So I think there's not a chance in hell, and I think maybe in a few months you hear about Wonder Woman, or maybe once they get into shooting, they'll announce a movement when they feel like they have a date, and it just proved that movies are working no matter when. It in September is making like summer movie money, so Black Panther's coming out in February. Movie like dates are not really mattering as much as anymore when it's like, oh, you gotta be from June to August, you know, those are the hot times. It's like, as if your movie's good, it's gonna be a hot time, you know.
Hot time.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of hot times, I want to talk about our second thing, which is like a mini bread and butter again, along with the It thing. So I want to bring this up there because this came up multiple times throughout the summer, and we talk about a lot as far as critics and Rotten Tomatoes and whatnot. So there's been a lot of studios saying that their movies are bombing because of Rotten Tomatoes and negative scores and whatnot. So I have a few experts from, or is it experts or what would it be?
Excerpts.
Excerpts. Thank you very much. That's why he gets paid the minimal bucks. I have a few experts.
Although experts, are usually the ones who are making excerpts.
Mm-hmm.
Shit,
So I have a few quotes from like few directors and a few studio heads, or from insider sources. So I took them from multiple articles, and I think it's an interesting topic to talk about because we always talk about Rotten Tomatoes scores. We'll sometimes predict what they're going to get. So this is from a director, Brett Ratner, who. But okay, so I think it's a destruction of our business, the director said. Producer and a film financer of a film festival, set during at a film festival this year. Some studio executives privately concede that a few recent movies, just a few, were simply bad. flawed marketing may have played a role in a couple of other instances they acknowledge, along with competition from Netflix and Amazon, but most of them point to Rotten Tomatoes being the main source of these bombs. Last year, scores started appearing on Fandango, and some of these aren't quotes. I'll say when there's a quote, and I'll say the person's names. Last year, scores started appearing on Fandango, the online movie ticketing seller, leading to a score next to the purchase button, which some people say that if you saw Rodden next to the thing, you would be an idiot. So insiders are saying, like, you'd be an idiot to buy that. Like, that's what Rotten Tomatoes being next to Fandango kind of represents. That's, oh, you're an idiot to buy this movie because it's Rotten. This is someone from Sony. The Emoji Movie was built for people under 18 who gave it an A- cinema score. So we wanted to give that movie its best chance, Sony said. What other worldwide release score under 8% has opened north of 20 million? I don't think there is one. And then he goes on to talk about more that people were too hard on the movie, that people, gave it negative reviews, but really they missed the point because it was just a movie for people under 18, so it was maybe looked at unfairly. And then this is another one that two big movies. Insiders close to both films of Baywatch and Pirates 5 blame Rotten Tomatoes.
I forgot about Baywatch.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in a secend. Respectively earning Pirates got 32% and Baywatch got 19%.
Not bad.
Insiders seem to think that they are attributing to slowing down potential business of popcorn movies. Pirates 5 and Baywatch aren't built for critics, but rather general audiences. And once upon the type of these films, a family adventure and raunchy rated R comedy were critic-proof. Many of those industries severely question how Rotten Tomatoes computes its ratings, and the fact that scores run / the movie ticketing buying site Fandango, they're saying because Rotten Tomatoes owns Fandango, is even a bigger problem. So there's multiple experts, and there's other ones that I could get into, but the general theme, and not everyone, but there's a lot. So you had a couple movies, there's example, Emoji Movie, Pirates, Baywatch, and there's been a few others the past few months.
Yeah,
but a lot,
Covenant, Kong, probably Mummy.
yeah, but these were the ones that people came out saying, like, or there was things like, oh, they feel this is contributing to this. Dylan, what do you think about all that? Because obviously we're nowhere near that spectrum, but we review movies, and obviously we're in that middle thing where we review movies a lot of times knowing what the general buzz is.
It's
like,
true.
I'm huge into reviews, so like when I see the score, I post a group chat right away of like, get hyped, or like, oof.
Even if I don't want to know, I know.
Yeah. Do you want me to stop doing that, posting the percent? I can. I just thought it's an
No, that's
interesting
fine.
fact.
It doesn't. I feel like I just kind of zone that shit out when
Okay.
I walk in the movie
Fair
theater.
enough.
Well, first of all, I asked JJ about this the other day, and he said, "Sucks to sucks." I mean, it's 100% a contributor. You
just took my shtick from me,
what?
Months ago when I started this JJ thing, and now it's a shit.
Yeah, but you
thing,
weren't. It just wasn't funny when you were doing it. So I just.
baloney! I know I have recording proof of Dylan laughing. Whatever.
Well, yeah, you can like chop it up and edit it around. Anyway, no.
Live streamed.
So
You're
on
just
Fandango,
jealous.
is
Yeah.
the Rotten Tomato score actually right beside the buy button?
Yeah.
That's
Not buy, but it would be like the poster, and it would be like critics rating, and then like buy is below
the
it.
buy button is so small that you have to like navigate inside the Rotten Tomatoes.
I will try and find the exact thing, but I think they're just saying it's right next to her in the vicinity of the buy. They're on
Like,
the same
you
page.
can't not see it. I'm sure got a lot more people going to it because it had like amazing reviews.
And 100 for like a month, 100% Rotten Tomatoes.
And, it works the same way. As much dedication as we do, for example, to go to these movies, right? So if someone, is going to the movie, let's say,
So there you go. You got fans and right there. So it's all in the little thing, and then buy is probably somewhere down below there. So if you've never gone to
you can't not see it.
yeah. Unless you're colorblind to tomatoes.
That's true.
Only tomatoes.
JJ.
Not
It's fruit blind.
JJ.
From tomatoes.
JJ just can't see tomatoes. It's really frustrating in salads.
So you totally ruined my thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does work both ways. Alright. Damn it, Travis. I was on to something and you just ruined it.
That's what I do.
Someone else go. I'll remember it.
Okay.
You're right. It does work both ways. But that being said, I don't like Rotten Tomatoes. I don't like critical reviews like that and stuff. And I say that.
Fuck off.
Hang on. I just said like less than 5 seconds worth of stuff. I gotta keep going.
That's some heavy stuff, though.
I don't like critical reviews.
You know what? It can do justice, and I understand that. But at the end of the day, most critics. Why are you gonna let a critic who has a personal preference speak? And I know they try to look at it from an unbiased opinion and an outside of the box view.
That's why you have a lot of different critics to rate it.
Yeah, but when you look at Rotten Tomatoes, like so many times you could see like 2 positives and like 13 negatives, and it can be exhausting at times thinking, okay, like how do I know exactly? Yes, there's some movies that it's a solid pass or it's a solid fail, but there's times when you think, okay, I don't really know. When at the end of the day, like for me, like when I would be watching movies all the time, like on weekends with my friends in high school, we didn't have the critics. We would just be like, okay, let's watch a show. You know what? Let's go see this movie. It looks great. And we watch it, and sure, if we didn't like it, it sucks. But it was an experience. And for me, that's what I enjoy more. And nowadays, it's like, for Assassin's Creed, for example, so many Assassin's Creed fans boycotted the movie because it got bad ratings. And it sucks because a lot of Assassin's Creed fans that saw it loved it, and it did justice.
They didn't boycott it because it was a bad movie?
Yeah.
And this is regular
I don't think
fan.
they can call themselves Assassin's Creed fans if they didn't go see the movie.
I
no matter
100% agree. I have seen every fucking Ron comic book movie and been like, oh, I'm not going to go see BVS because it's a 12 on. To me, those are people that are not real fans of the movie.
Yeah, but then you could have DC fanboys that aren't real fans and they'll do the same thing.
That's true, but that's what I'm saying when you're saying like, oh yeah, the fans are complaining because it got bad reviews. They're not that big fans. Like, if they put out fucking Smash Bros. The movie and it's a 0 on Rotten Tomatoes, these guys are still gonna go see it.
Yeah.
That's why I don't believe they're true fans then. And, like, your argument, I think, is 100% wrong. There's nothing to it, because you're saying, like, oh, there shouldn't be that critical reviews, and what are we? Should we stop reviewing movies then?
No, because we're not literally forcing people and, like, putting our results, like,
I would though if they asked us, hey,
we're giving our opinions though, and that's why in this scenario I don't at the end. We are. That's why Dylan. He doesn't do the number system anymore. So like when he gives his review, I see it more as like a very good opinion.
But lots of critics don't do the number system unwritten. The people on Rotten Tomatoes will have to read it and say, does this person view it as negative or positive? The people are reviewing movies. Is that not their opinion? So if like Joe Blow put out a movie on whatever, Mother's coming out, they put out a 4 out of 5. That's their opinion of the movie. You don't think, like, you're saying that's a review, it can't count? Like, what's the difference between a review and an opinion? Because I feel like what we do are reviews.
The thing is, Taylor, we got to keep in mind is, like, obviously, yeah, you were saying, like, everyone has their own perspective on it. But the thing is, Rotten Tomatoes gathers a whole bunch of people and kind of averages out. So
yeah. I don't mean to
discredit you reviewing a movie, but you've never given a movie less than a 6, which doesn't really, actually less than a 7, which doesn't really make, like, much sense, right? But if you take, like, everyone, let's say, a movie we did, like, 2 years ago, where all of us did numbers, you take all of that and you, like, add them all up and subtract or divide it by all the people, and you get, like, an average of, like, what rating we would give it. Like, that's probably, like, somewhat accurate.
Yeah. Like, let's say Force Awakens. We were all relatively high, and I think, like, just was an 8. All of us were, like, a 9, 8.5. So if we wanted to start on GeekVerse putting, like, okay, our reviews, the link, and then the average, our thing was, like, let's say it was an 8.5. That's the same thing they do. And they go a step above where they're not even reviewing any movies, though. They just take the averages. So what's the difference between them and what we're doing? We just don't do an average. But I still say, hey, Suicide Squad is a terrible movie, don't go see it. I'm doing the same thing because I feel it's just different that studios are mad that they're making bad movies and they can't hide it anymore. All these movies we talked about, Assassin's Creed, a Warcraft, a Baywatch, which I just saw for the first time in 3 weeks, was awful. And I told you right away, I'm like, you guys don't waste your time. And you guys, I hope, would do the same thing for me. All these movies, what was Emoji Movie I haven't seen, Pirates 5, I'm sorry, Pirates 5 is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. So it's like, I never be like, hey, and Dylan brought it up, like, Get Out was super successful because of the ratings. It was another thing I bet was super successful because everyone was raving about it. So it works both ways. So far, there's very few movies, and it does happen. Logan Lucky didn't do phenomenal. Last year, The Nice Guys didn't do phenomenal. There's movies that can get good reviews and still not do well. So what are they supposed to say? Oh, it wasn't good enough, like an 86. Oof, like we should have been a 90, like it does. Movies that are bad still make money and have bad, like rotten scores, and people that have positives still bomb. You know, like
there is some outliers, right? Like you look at like all the controversy that happened with Iron Fist. Even if it's not a good show, a lot of people, you know, went on like that, just like gave that shitty ratings because of like issues related, not related to the show, but just, you know, because they wanted to.
And second most watched Marvel show.
Yeah,
you know?
And you know, you like in that article, you know, there's some movies that like they said Pirates of the Caribbean and like the
Pirates 5 and
movie
Baywatch are apparently the main. Well, and Emoji, those ones that the critic or source say that lots of studios inside were saying,
well,
like, oh, it's Rotten Tomatoes' fault. But
well, I mean, like even like the statement that like those movies aren't meant to be looked at like a critical eye. Like,
Emoji is not meant for a movie over the age of 18.
Well, it wasn't even for Pirates and Baywatch as well. That like this is meant for a general audience as opposed to a critical audience.
Well, that was they said at a different time in like maybe like 10 years ago, these movies would have been like critic proof and they would have made money no matter what. But they feel that now, because of I guess Rotten Tomatoes specifically, people see these scores and they go, "Oh, I just don't want to see it." You know?
Yeah, well, I mean that's the thing. Like some people, this was my thought earlier. I finally remembered it. You know, some people, you know, like obviously we go see movies like multiple times a month, but some people, you know, just based on like how much they enjoy it or whatever the reason is, their life is. They might only go see a movie like once every like 2 months or something. Mm-hmm. So you know, if that's like how often or like how much dedication they have to it, they're gonna maybe there might be a couple movies they're interested in, and then they might, you know, check out some reviews and see, oh, which one do like people who watch movies for a living and, you know, try to decipher what is a good movie and what is a bad movie for a living. Like, okay, what do these people think? Because I'll probably just, you know, go with them. Yeah. And for the most part, I would say that's usually accurate. There is some. You know, there is obviously some outliers, whether it be through my bias or not, by, you know, just other scenarios. But for the most part, it's like, I would say it's like, most of the time, it's somewhat, fairly accurate.
I say this to all the people, make your top 10 list of movies. I guarantee you, probably at least 7 of those are reviewed positively, you know? Obviously, you all have those, like, hey, I love the Arnold Schwarzenegger Jingle All the Way Christmas movie. Mm-hmm. I know it has, like, a 2 in Rotten Tomatoes, but that's where I go, I know why, but I still like
Pick a Destiny is one of the greatest movies of all time.
I'm pretty sure that's pretty positive on Rotten.
Is it?
I think it's like 7. Yeah.
Well, it bombed in the movie theater.
But I guarantee you, and Taylor, you know what? Taylor might be the outlier for this top 10, but I say make your top 10. Hey, Taylor, what's your all-time favorite movie?
My all-time
favorite movie? We have done this before.
Well, it would be a Star Wars movie, right?
I'd probably say Star Wars or Jurassic Park 1.
And those are both very high positive. I was talking, I saw him like working like a beautiful mind, like how can I say what I need to say and screw these guys over. Tyler, what are your thoughts on this?
A lot of agreement with Dylan and Travis. I mean, really, when it comes down to it, like, make a bad movie, it's not going to get reviewed, people aren't going to watch it. Make a good movie, it's going to get reviewed well, people are going to watch it. Mm-hmm. I mean, when it comes, for at least like 99% of the time, probably.
Yeah.
Well, obviously, there's going to be a few exceptions.
I'll say 90 to 85. 90%.
Right. There may be a few exceptions, but in the grand scheme of things, complaining about like the few exceptions isn't going to get you anywhere, and it has no basis. And really, a lot of it on how they were saying how these films would have been quality film to rake in the cash, which will encourage them to make quality films. Mm-hmm. And it all just comes with us being in the information age where all this stuff is so much more available, whereas back then people didn't have all these critical reviews available to them, at least the general audience didn't.
Yeah, you couldn't click a button and have it. You have to go look at newspapers.
It wasn't like when you went to go buy the movie, you wouldn't see the score right beside.
And you'd actually see good reviews always, like on a DVD, right? It'd be like the best movie of the year, or like a fun action thriller.
You had to actually go and see it or talk to your friends who might have seen it and to decide whether the movie was good or not.
Yeah.
And say, like with Pirates of the Caribbean, if we didn't have all these reviews for how bad 5 is. It was 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, Pirates of the Caribbean, I would have been super excited to see it, and it probably would have made a lot of money.
Yeah.
But because we now have also information available to us, now we have the foresight of knowing, like, hey, other people didn't like this, and we can't just rely on them using the Pirates of the Caribbean title to guarantee that's a good film. So overall, I think they're just complaining that they're just trying to find a scapegoat for why their movie's bad and they didn't make a lot of money.
Well, yeah, and I feel like, and I get it, like, people go like, oh, you know, like, even if they feel like they made a good movie and it sucks, I'm sure everyone works hard, but I don't always think it's one thing. I do think Rotten Tomatoes, like, I think they're actually right when they say Rotten Tomatoes might be hurting them, but I think it's, like I said, for a reason.
Like, yeah, it's fair. That they're hurting.
Yeah, it's fair, but it's like, all you gotta do, you already said, like, you just gotta make good quality movies nowadays, you know, and that's the thing where...
Like, the Emoji Movie, stupid fucking idea for a movie.
Yeah.
Deserves to not do well.
And I do agree with them, though. I think 5 years ago, that probably would have made a lot of money, you know, like, I think movies like that would have. And if it was quality like the Lego Movie, then I think you'd be like, oh, that Emoji Movie surprisingly was good, but I've not heard anything positive about it, you know, like, and yeah, movies slip through cracks all the time that are great and bomb, you know, it happens, but I think they can't kind of be like snake oil salesmen anymore, you know, like now if you're promoting your movie, you gotta really have some faith in it and hope that's a good movie. Taylor, I'll throw it back to you now because you said a lot, I'm sure you want to say a lot more.
You know, you guys make good points. I'm not going to argue with that because when it comes down to this, like, it's never going to change. It's the way it is. And we're going to have, like, again, like, opinions on this. So, but I like, with one thing that irks me with Rotten Tomatoes, like, after a movie's come out, granted, sure, put out the reviews, put out the score, that's fine, that's fair. But leading up to a movie, even, I feel like even that's just... I mean, yes, people don't have a lot of
that
money.
defeats the purpose
yeah,
of it.
because like, should I see this?
I know, but I mean, yes, we live in the age of technology, we can do that, but I mean, if it's, and you, like you said, if it's a movie that has, like, aliens slapped on it, like, yes, they can take advantage of that, and that can be unfair, especially if Covenant isn't living up to the success that it should have. And I understand that, but then at the same time, just, if you go see a movie and you don't like it, then... It should be like word of mouth or whatever, but don't like bash this movie so badly to the point where it's literally being boycotted by so many people, because I feel like that is an unfair advantage.
But I
the
think
thing is, you have to keep too is we live in a world where people also have like Netflix and other streaming services, so it's a thing of like, oh, this movie it's not reviewing well, I'm just gonna wait and watch it at home, right? Because that's a choice that like I've made that choice a few times. I'm sure you guys have too. Like. I don't know, that's something you have to keep in mind as well. Like, people, it's not that they don't want to see the movie, it's just that, like, oh, okay, well, like you were saying earlier, like, it's expensive to go to the movies. Like, if you want to get a fucking combo, that's even, like, more expensive than your movie, right?
I've decided to stop buying popcorn, because I spent $8 when we all went to go see it, and then I went to Walmart and bought a thing of 24 for $7, and I was like, I'm not buying popcorn anymore. Yeah, like, this is stupid. I can put butter at home. Like, they get me. But, like, this is the thing, too. You see people are bashing it. I think some people, there's also reviews that do bash. I've bashed movies before, like a Pirates, like maybe like an Alien Covenant. But, like, I think a lot of reviewers, they just put out a review. It's negative, but they're just putting out their opinion. And they're not the ones that decide that, like, something gets a 9% on Rotten Tomatoes. They just put a review out there, right?
So I don't conjoined with other.
Yeah, so I don't think a percentage is bashing it though.
No, I understand that. It just I feel like, and if they changed this up and made it more diverse, because I feel like
I would like pull that title up because you're stretching the leather there.
I would like to see more opinions and just more people actually.
People that have been doing it for like 10 or 15
your review on it.
And maybe they seem to be very like-minded people in most cases. That seems.
But then again, like I said, when you mentioned something like Baywatch, I've heard nothing bad things, and then when I saw it, it was a bad thing. So it's like not most of the time. I'm not like, man, what are people? That's something that's happening right now with Mother. That some people are seeing it and they're like, I don't understand what critics are saying. They like it. It seems really weird, and like it's not what the movie that's being previewed. Like I said, it does happen, but I feel like most of the time, like they're not like-minded. It's just like if you make bad, it's like. That's just kind of the way it goes, I think. I think it's not that they all sat together and they're like, this movie we're going to make a negative review of, And I think you're maybe just so hurt that you're not getting an Assassin's Creed sequel because they were also the guys that decided to release a movie a week after Star Wars. It was just we talked about. So it's not always just that. Same thing as Baywatch and Pirates. Pirates came out 3 weeks after Guardians, and Baywatch came out the same day as Pirates. Like, you don't think that has anything to do with it either. Same thing as Apes. Apes, That's an example right there. Apes is huge. I think it's like a 94. It's 94 or 93 on Rotten Tomatoes. So it's like Logan. It's one of the best reviews of the year. It's the lowest of the franchise. What like that had nothing like Rotten Tomatoes didn't hurt that or help that. You know, that's one of those there, and that's why I think it's a release date. But that. And everyone could have said like, oh, we're gonna give it a 94 or whatnot, but it still didn't work. You know.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, my perfect example, I didn't, like, yes, Logan, for example, it had huge reviews, it did phenomenal, but me personally, I didn't have that kind of incentive or that urge to go see it in theaters.
But would you have, so I'll put you in this situation, would you have given that higher than a 6 out of 10?
I definitely would have passed it, put it that way. But
so
it
then
wasn't
you would have gone
favorites.
into, but still, that's the way Rotten Tomatoes works. It goes in, is it a pass or a fail? And then that percentage is not even a score average. It's just how many people gave it a pass and how many people gave it a fail. So you would have been in that 94, 95%.
But see, that should be more of a score instead of a thumbs up or thumbs down Netflix style.
You can look at it though. If people really care, you can go into it and like, I'll find right now. You can get the average score of a movie on Rotten Tomatoes. They do that as well. Someone to see, even though I still think if you saw 7.5, you'd be like, okay, that's what, like, you could make your pick, and I guess that's what you're saying, like, you could pick to do that instead of a percentage, but
I like, you know, just with critics like in this, like, it's just so more narrow, like, around the 7 is like a good movie, like, you can still go see it, but like movies, like, going back a few years ago, I feel like even movies being given like a 5 would still be considered like a good movie, and you can go see it.
I don't think so. I think 5 is like it's passable.
I still feel like, because I mean, we weren't as like critical and harsh as we were now with reviews. And
is that or is that just because you're older now and you see that? Because when we were kids, we were just like, oh, good movie, bad movie, Star Wars prequels. But then as I get older, I didn't, because the critics start not liking the right now, 74%. The average rating is a 6.8. I don't think it's that far. So obviously, what? That's literally okay. So there's like a 6-point difference. That's a 0.6 different. To me, it's not that different. Like it's pretty close. Like I still think the most people, if you saw 6.8 or 74, you're gonna decide if you're gonna go see that or not. You know, if the average score was like a 5, but then it was 74. I think it'll be bigger. But I think they're usually still pretty close. I think if you swap them, people will be like, oh, I'm gonna go see Mother because it's like at least this, because people might go that they still might go, oh, it's a 6 to 8%, you know, like it's pretty much this. It's a similar rating system, right?
I guess it just irks me that I'm letting other people decide for me.
But how are you?
Don't let the reviews decide whether you see a movie.
For you personally, do you mean? Or
No, not for me personally, but I feel like majority of people, that's the case. They
And
look at it
for
and like, okay,
a lot of people who don't see movies very often, that helps them make sure they're watching a good movie.
Yeah.
That gives them the best chance to see a good movie, whereas if they only go by hearsay...
Because what happens if
people
they
don't want to spend money to not enjoy time? Right?
Yeah,
that makes no sense at all.
If they see a movie, they get on like, man, I really wasted my money. I should listen to the reviews. I guarantee that's why a lot of this is happening. Because a lot of people, I think 2 years ago, were like, oh, it's raw and that doesn't matter. And then when they go see it, and like, yeah, like I guess I shouldn't have done that. You know, because people do that with critics all the time before they even see a movie. That happened with Squad BVS. We saw it. They wanted it shut down, but it's like you haven't seen that movie. You don't even know if it's good or bad. What if you're saying that and you go see it and you're like, oh, they kind of were right about this. It is a mess.
But then, you know, it falls in, like you said, like, great movies fall through the cracks of where, like, oh, let's say, like, they don't get those good reviews, and people that would have liked them just listen to the reviews, and they let that decision
but you
get
said great movies fall through the cracks and they don't get those reviews. I don't think that's
when you said, like, great movies, like, fall through, like, how does that work with them with Rotten Tomatoes?
Well,
and why
something
don't they
like
get the good
Apes. Something like Apes, 94%, and it just didn't happen. Sometimes it just doesn't happen. It's release date, it's maybe, and same thing, it's in the middle of summer. A lot of people already spent a lot of money. You know, something like Logan Lucky, it's at the end of summer, people spent money already. You know, that happened with Night Skies last year. It had Ryan Gosling, great director. It's really high rating, and I think it has like 30 million altogether. You know, it was like a flop because it didn't make its budget back. You know, but it was like critically darling. People talk about for Oscars. That just happens, and then you have movies that are rotten and make tons of money. Transformers isn't this year, but last year those get terrible reviews, but those are like top 10 in the movie. So like, I think they have like there's a come see come saw where it's like some good things go through the cracks, but some bad things do. Some bad things are critic proof. You know, like if Last Jedi comes out and it's a 20 on Rotten Tomatoes, I still think that makes $1 billion. You know, there's some franchises that are immune to it, but then it happens over time. Like Tyler's talking about the Pirates. They've put out now, and lots of people we're in the minority. Lots of people don't like 2 and 3 of Pirates. So for them, it's like, again and again, they keep putting out these mediocre to bad films. The critics, I think, are just kind of like reinstating that for fans too, because like with 4 and 5, those were bad movies, and the critics think that too, like for me. So it's like, I don't look at it. At 2 and 3, I like, oh, well, we have a different opinion, but I think most of the time there is a trend there. You know, I think even without the critics, Pirates would have got lower because they don't have good movies coming out. You know, same thing. I told you Transformers is going to start dropping because after a while people start to catch on. You can only trick them for so long. Most of the time, you know, Transformers had a great run. 5 movies made billions of dollars, but eventually people go, hey, the majority of people are going, hey, I'm not into this. Like, this is not what I want. You know.
Yeah, you know, it's a conversation that could just go on for a long
It
time.
could.
I mean, I'll end it going to the Fandango. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
I mean, the Rotten Tomatoes owns it, so I understand why they throw the score next to there. So fair enough. But I mean, like, I would keep your scores. Like me personally, I would keep it like. We don't. If we had an option on our website, I feel like it would be a little cheesy just to slap the score next to the buy ticket option. I feel like if the person has looked at the review and then gone as far as going to the buy ticket, I feel like it's like, are you sure? Like, or here's the score.
Maybe,
are you sure?
Or it reinstates that. But that's where I disagree, because you think if we had a chance to be on Rotten Tomatoes, every review we put up there to be up there and get us the publicity and the eyes on us, you wouldn't do that?
No, I mean, like, I mean,
so you would.
No, I'm saying in the sense where, like, okay, publicity, yes, I understand that, we want that, but I mean, like, if I'm going out of my way to buy that ticket for it, I'm going online to buy it, and if I'm going online to buy it, then, yes, I could go online and look at the ratings beforehand and that stuff. Like, I'm making a point of buying my ticket, so obviously I don't need that extra reminder. I feel like it's just going an extra mile. Just I don't know.
I think that's where we came back from the beginning, though, right? When you said some people didn't go watch Assassin's Creed the movie because it's bad. Then those people aren't that big of fans. You know, you saw it, Ruben saw it, we all saw it, and we knew that movie had like a 20%, and we're not even big fans. We're like, oh, for the review, yada yada yada. You know, like there's certain movies where some of us will sit out, but we usually have a group of people going to some movies we're interested in. Like, there's only been a few. And Mother, we just didn't see just because we're just like, we want to do a newscast and we haven't done one in a while, you know? Like, most of the time we want to review movies. In the 400, and we probably didn't need to review, but we were like, okay, we're interested, could be fun, could be good, and we still saw it, even though people said it's this horrible movie. And I don't think it was. I think it was just a fine, kind of fun, boring action movie, you know? But like, I think if you let something change your mind, you weren't that big of a fan of it. That's something like Baywatch. I didn't think any of the trailers were good. If the critics came out and said, hey, it's great, I'd have a second thought that, hey, people are liking this. So it can be positive, I think, as well, too. But it's just if you get a negative, it's a different story. Yeah. Anything else to add?
That was intense.
Anything else to add? No?
I think the last thing I just wanted to say is, like, you know, when it comes down to watching a movie, like, even though I don't give things like a number rating anymore, I still could. And like, if you ask me to give you a number rating for every movie I've seen this year, like, I could do that. It's fine, because I feel like, you know, people for most movies, I think if you see it once, like, I think you're at a point where that's totally fine to review it. Obviously, that's what we do on like all of our podcasts. There's some movies like Dunkirk, for example. I wish I had an opportunity to see it again before reviewing it. But, you know, that happens sometimes. But I think, you know, for the most part, a reviewer can see a movie even just once, and then they can, you know, write some stuff about it, and then I think that's fine. Like, whatever number they give it, whether it's really good or really bad, I think that's fine. Like, I have a problem with some, like, video game reviews. I feel like that's just a lot harder to grasp, and, like, people, like, for RPGs, for example, like, someone's experience with a game could be, like, completely different, right? And, you know, some people like a lot of games, like, oh, this game crashes, like, every 5 minutes, I hate this game. Yeah. Some people, it's like, oh, like, fucking Unity. You had no issues with that game. Like, it was not broken at all for you. It just happens sometimes. But for a movie, you know, unless for some reason the screen breaks. I've never seen that happen in a movie theater. Like everyone kind of has like the same experience, and it's. I mean, obviously you have different biases going in, and like you know, if you haven't seen the original, like, you're gonna think of this one differently. But I don't know. For the most part, I think it's fine if you see a movie once.
Okay, so I have a question for you then. So you say watching a movie once, and you're good to review it, right? So what happens if you're like watching Rogue One and you fall asleep through it?
Mm-hmm.
You still feel like you could review it?
I feel like I don't think you should be reviewing it. Like, you can obviously give it. See, you can give the review that I fell asleep through for part of the film, so obviously the first part may not be interesting. But obviously the rest of the review has to be taken with a grain of salt.
I think if you miss 1 minute of the movie and if you miss an hour, then that's different. Like if I fell.
Even then, I think that depends.
I don't like that. I don't like that. That shows that like I don't care, and that I'm just doing this like fuck around. Whereas I actually do really care about this, and that's why like for all of the Saw movies, for example, I've watched them twice and I even postponed one because I was like, I want to watch this again because I don't feel like I should review it at this point.
Yeah, because we had someone on Podbay.fm say that about Dylan. Say, "Oh, should he even be reviewing?"
They're not wrong. They're not wrong at all.
They're not.
Everyone makes mistakes.
It all depends on how you're presenting it. When we do reviews, as you've seen, it's really casual. Like what we always present is it's us like standing outside the movie. We used to do that before. If we were on Rotten Tomatoes and they said, "Hey, one of you got to put in a review," of course, we're not going to choose Dylan for the Rogue One review. If it's our official review score, and it's like, and we were in Rotten Tomatoes, like, hey, what do you GeekVerse think? I mean, like, Dylan, you don't get enough input on this one. You know, just like for the clarity.
This real snooze.
Yeah, for the clarity of that. In a review, you could say, hey, one of the fellow people I saw fell asleep. But for our reviews, and I think people that are on YouTube, I think that's completely valid because we're just like a fun, friendly, like, we're just fans, you know? And like, I always say when people throw that about Dylan, I always hate that because, like, we've never presented us as, like, professional people. And if Dylan fell asleep, I'd want him to be on the review. Because that shows the quality. Yeah, that shows the quality of the movie to me. That, like, hey, he was excited, he wanted to see it, and he fell asleep during a very loud movie. That shows something wasn't right with the movie, you know? So, but if he's on Rotten Tomatoes, then it'd be like, yeah, like, you know, but we're not in a studio. We all want, like, a laptop and a phone. If you think we're professional critics, you know, like, I don't know. When we get a studio, then you can hold us to that standard, I guess. But
yes.
even then, I'll probably backtrack.
When you pay me to review a movie, I won't fall asleep.
Exactly, yeah. If he falls asleep, he'll go back in and see it again.
Take my eyes open. Take a caffeine pill or some shit.
Okay, well, that went longer, so I'm going to go through news quickly. And
Blitz mode. Boom, boom, boom.
Hellboy, first look, go.
Meh.
Whoa!
It's cool. I mean,
like double take,
Ron
like
Perlman?
Ron Perlman.
He's right. Nothing was wrong with that statement.
I just didn't know what he said.
Oh.
Who's Ron Perlman?
No, I love the look, the long hair, everything looked fantastic.
Okay.
Yeah, I like it. Good job for you, David Harbour. That's the guy who's the cop in Stranger Things. I don't think that's actually him. I think he's in a body because if you look at that, that's ungodly.
There's some girthy proportions. I really thought they were going to do a CGI Hellboy, just the way everything is now. I thought, oh, for sure he'll be wearing a mocap suit. The fact that he's just
not,
to spite you.
Yeah, the fact that he's not as awesome. Well, like I keep throwing out, Black Panther's coming out in February. Like we're changing the way movies come out. I think if that movie's a hit,
we as in GeekVerse.
Oh yeah, we're getting paid by Disney and all that, and the Hellboy.
We're getting paid now? Wait, I haven't received a check.
You didn't go watch Rogue One again.
I gave all your money to J.J. He said in order for you to hang out with him, he gets your money though.
Okay.
Yeah, so
okay.
good deal.
I don't care.
It's in the contract. I gotta do it.
Yeah. Suicide Squad 2 has a director. It's Gavin O'Connor. He did Warrior. He did The Accountant. He did a few other movies. I'm not sure if you guys have seen The Accountant, that Ben Affleck one where he was statistic and was like a hair something. I haven't seen that one yet.
Like, has it got reasonable reviews?
It's down the middle. People really like it, or people are like, yeah, it's alright.
Watch that.
I want to watch it. I really liked Warrior.
GeekVerse movie night. GeekVerse movie night.
Yeah, so I'm not sure if you guys have any thoughts on that. I don't know if you've seen their movies.
I don't know that guy.
Nope.
I'll probably
glad
go to
that's
the
good.
review. I'll probably watch it for a review. I'll somehow manage to sit through all of Suicide Squad 1.
Mm-hmm.
If we do that, I
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe I won't. Maybe I won't care.
I think it's a good Squad too. So there you go.
Squad
So,
Okay.
there's
Could be
potential
not
there.
bad. Is Jared Leto still Joker?
According to him, yeah. So
Okay.
there's still that.
According to him.
Yeah.
They just ditch him, put Leo DiCaprio in there.
Leo DeCap.
Or Bill Skarsgård, do it up.
Spurs.
They announced X-Force, which is going to be the crossover. Even
I wonder
though,
why you didn't get an opinion on that.
sorry, what do you think about that?
About the director?
Oh,
Sounds like
yeah.
a swell guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Third straight. Yeah.
X-Force is going to be like Deadpool's Avengers. He's going to have a team up. Cable's going to be in there. Domino, so we're going to meet them in Deadpool 2. But X-Force and X-Men Comics is kind of like a hit squad. Like it is kind of like their Suicide Squad. It's like really Black Ops with a bunch of mutants. Drew Goddard was announced as the director. He did Cabin in the Woods. He wrote The Martian, the movie, and he did the first 3 episodes of Daredevil. He was a showrunner. He actually did. He wrote an episode of Defenders. So for me, it's a great choice. He's done a lot of stuff. At one point, he was talked to direct Venom, talked to direct Sinister Six. So he's been flirting with a comic
and
movie
around.
for a while. Yeah. So any thoughts? I laid out his resume. He's directing the Deadpool team up.
Count me
So this
in.
is after Deadpool 2, though.
Yeah.
So
And they
it's,
have said Deadpool's gonna be like the lead of it. So
Cool. I like it.
I'd hire him.
Hmm?
I'd hire him.
you know,
I thought you said you'd marry him. Like,
I'd marry him.
Maybe that's
I honestly would too.
My only thing of contention is I do worry them doing this big team up when Cable and Domino are in Deadpool 2. I feel like that's already
It's
a
just
team up
gonna be the
movie.
same thing,
Yeah,
yeah.
so maybe they'll add some
Maybe
people.
Cable dies and then he gets resurrected.
Well, I mean, it's like they did the big team up in Captain America Civil War, and it's not an Avengers movie.
oh,
But we already had the
shit.
Avengers though, right? Where it's like going
Snap.
backwards. The only
Slow down,
hope is
Tyler.
the only hope I have is with the X-Force movie. I hope this is where we get the announcement that X-23 is coming in. Because man, a movie with X-23 and Deadpool, that's money right there. That's so good.
There's a
So,
lot of dollar bills.
yeah.
Sir.
I'll go see it. Even.
Yeah.
And I normally wouldn't. Anyway.
Really?
The Disaster Artist trailer, a movie James Franco has directed with all his crew. Watch one for the fans in December at some point, but yeah, so it's known as one of the worst movies of all time. They're making a documentary about it.
I mean, that movie has produced some great memes.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Damn it, bye, Lisa.
that one is one of them.
Yeah, that wasn't the first one that I thought.
Execution, we're not going to comment on, but it was the meme.
Okay.
Alright.
I think this is a great idea for a movie. I don't know why. I just think it's going to be really fun.
Mhm.
And I like James Franco and his brother as well.
Dave Franco.
Dave.
Yep.
David.
Yeah.
And I think I saw Seth Rogen in there.
Yeah.
True
Yes,
classic of our time, you know, born in Vancouver, born and raised. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a good movie.
My first experience was Ruben telling me about it, and we watched a couple clips and watched the movie. I watched the movie, and I thought, this is like phenomenal stuff. It's so bad that I love this movie.
It's bad good.
It's
Mm.
bad good.
It's a
Like
definition.
it's not. Oh hi Mark.
Wow.
That was amazing.
Like he's just Tommy Wiseau. I've watched him on like machinimas, like playing Mortal Kombat and stuff. Like
I
he's
didn't know
playing
this.
video games. Like he gets abducted by the aliens. The aliens are like, you have to play this game, and he's like, oh, but I'm so bad at this game. Like it's so good. Like I can't wait to see James Franco do his interpretation. Like just from watching the trailers, he's just phenomenal at it. Him and Dave Franco are great. So. I'm more than stoked for this movie.
More than stoked.
When I first saw the trailer for it, I took it seriously, but I also thought it was like a fan-made trailer of The Room. I didn't realize that it was like a documentary, but also like
A biopic.
yeah. And I had no idea what to do. I was like, this looks terrible. And then I realized it was a documentary about The Room. I was like, okay, this actually makes sense. I've never seen The Room though,
Mm.
so now I'm probably gonna want to see it with you guys. And then
Yeah,
Gonna do
we're
what?
actually.
yeah. Oh, shit.
JJ's.
I'm gonna watch on my own.
Yeah.
It's okay. JJ,
No,
you
just
got it.
kidding.
Yeah.
I'll kick JJ out for you.
I
You don't
won't.
have to do that.
He's JJ's gonna sit on my lap.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
All right.
I think you're going to sit on his lap, actually.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it actually looks really funny. I mean, James Franco, Seth Rogen, they've done wonderful things together.
Oh, wow. Such as?
Dave Franco, I just don't remember him from anything noticeable.
Really?
Yeah, I don't.
What are those big movies he was in?
Neighbors, 21 Jump
Yeah.
Street.
22 Jump Street.
He is funny.
22.
21
He
Jump
has a
Street.
fucking cameo
He's the
in
drug
22 Jump
dealer.
Street.
He's in it.
What are you doing 21 Jump Street?
He's
He's the
drug
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 dealer in the first one.
I think I always thought that was James Franco.
That was Dave.
You
You
know.
did start the
I've probably
trailer.
seen Dave Franco multiple times and just thought he was
You
James
did start
Franco.
the trailer by saying that you thought James Franco was playing two roles, so you probably thought
Yeah,
this was the
I
best.
thought it was. I thought we were
Yeah.
never gonna see them together in the same scene and just like only shots of one of them at a time.
So you've probably seen
I
a
was
bunch of
super
Dave Franco
excited.
movies thinking it's James Franco.
Probably.
There you go.
All right,
127 hours. You know?
Dave Franco's great. Yeah.
all right. Doesn't matter.
Who
I'm
knows?
excited. This looks hilarious, and yeah, I now have a reason to actually watch The Room.
Yeah. Well, we'll do that and be sitting on JJ's lap, feeling that Jedi staff. You know,
Do you think
it's all good for
this movie's gonna be critic proof?
100%. It's getting very good reviews already out of TIFF and
I don't think
everything
that's
like
critic
that.
proof. I think it's just getting good.
Yeah,
reviews.
yeah. I don't think it is. Yeah, you're true. Yeah, if we got bad reviews, be like, yeah, but people would still see it. Biggest thing, yeah, this is if as far as someone like myself who's really into film, this is a gem as far as you hear about right when you get really into film. You hear about this and you hear about Ed Wood and things like that. You hear about these movies that are so bad you have to watch them, and it is one of the funnest experience. I can watch that movie over and over again. You do gotta think that this is a guy who started. He can say it was gonna be a dark comedy, but like it's been kind of proven that like things didn't go the way, and that's just kind of a fun way to for him to throw it on the rug. And like he wanted to make something serious. And the thing that I love the most about this trailer is you could easily go make a satire. You can easily go make a funny movie and make fun of him and poke fun at him and everything like that. Because that's happened for years and lots of things. And yeah, he is a strange dude. But for years he has been made fun of, and there has been things that I'm sure he wanted to make this great movie that's known as one of the worst movies, if not the worst movie of all time. The thing that makes me want to see this movie the most, if you take any like fanboy movies out, like Star Wars or Thor or Justice League, this is the movie I want to see the most. It would have already been, but the biggest thing is the heart with this movie. And it's showing, like, the way the trailer starts of him saying, like, and him with his brother Dave Franco and everything like that, them talking about having a dream and wanting to live the Hollywood dream, and just like they're talking about writing the movie and how Hollywood turns them away, and you can tell there's an agent telling, like, Tommy, like, you're never going to make it in here, like, you're too strange, like, this business is not for you. And that's a big thing, is, like, to me, this movie doesn't actually come off as making him look like an idiot. It just comes off as showing these two guys who have a dream to make a movie and be famous. And like I'm nowhere near that. I'm already just in the minor thing of just trying to like write movies and get them going. I've been trying to make a movie the past year and it's been a hellhole because things pop up in life. And I can imagine with these guys the same thing. They just had a dream, and now he's much more famous than a lot of other people. He was chanted so much at TIFF. He came on stage, James Franco introduced him, and the whole thing was chanting Tommy. So at the end of the day, he made something that's important for film culture, and I applaud James Franco because it looks like it has heart. And they could easily took that route of just like kicking him down more. So this movie is a day one for me. I'm sure we might do a review. I don't know. It's probably going to be a weird movie, but this is my most anticipated movie of 2017. I cannot wait. And James Franco, I think, deserves an Oscar because if you've watched Tommy Wiseau, it's scary. You can't tell the way he moves, the way he's just like his eye movements, and the way he talks and the speech looks phenomenal. I cannot wait to see the Disaster Artist as soon as possible.
Wow. When does it come out?
They don't have a release date yet because no one's bought it officially. But I think probably December they'll probably hit for like Oscar time. They're just showing it at festivals now, so usually that's where people purchase movies and they'll get the. It could even come to Netflix. Honestly, there's a chance it hasn't been purchased by someone, so that's what the festivals are for,
Maybe
to
we
sell
should
you.
all go in and buy it.
I don't think we have like $10 million. This movie's gonna make so much money.
JJ dropped a
True,
No,
JJ.
small loan
We
on
could
account.
call it.
sell our souls for a loan.
I've done it before. And I'll do it again.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't have a soul,
I don't have a
sell.
soul anymore, so now I'm just.
I have
taking
nothing to
all
lose.
those nerds.
I'll sell my physical body.
I don't even have one.
Wow, you're just a ghost.
He's just he's not actually here.
What's going on with the news, Travis? Come on.
Yeah, I have another
I'm bored
topic,
over
but
here.
I think we'll hold that off for another time. It's not too ton of time. We'll wait till Jessica's on. It'll be like another bread and butter, so we've gone a little longer already. So, any other movie or gaming news? I'm sorry, movie or TV news. I totally screwed that up.
Yeah. So I was originally supposed to go to a concert yesterday, but it got canceled on Monday. So instead, I went to one of those special events that the theaters are now having. Is David Gilmour Live at Pompeii.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a concert, just like at the theater, and so I went to go check it out. David Gilmour is also one of my favorite human beings. He's just amazing. and it was like spectacular. Like if I compare, obviously it's not a movie, but if I compared it to like other movie experiences I've had this year, like it's easily in like the top 3 in terms of like just like how much I enjoyed like every second I was there, and like the emotion of it, and the sound quality was just like amazing, and like the directing of like the actual concert turned into like a movie format was really interesting. And there was a couple times where there was some really fucking aggressive strobe lights that were I actually had to look away. Like it was I don't really know how that made it, like because it was like various colors too. I was like I can't do this, I feel like I'm gonna puke, like this is crazy. But other than that, like 10-second bit, like it was an amazing experience, and I'm so glad that the theaters are doing these like special events. I feel like it's a pretty new thing that they've been doing this, right? Like this particular show was just a one night thing, one time, one show.
Was it like during the actual concert, or like when did the actual live concert happen?
The concert was in 2016.
Oh, it already happened. Okay.
Yeah, this is David Gilmour live at
Right.
Pompeii from his 2016
Okay.
2016 tour, and so this is like the DVD release of like
That's really nice.
the show, I guess. And so like the start of it was like him like making the album that he was working on, and like them choosing to go back to Pompeii because Pink Floyd had a really interesting Live at Pompeii show like in the 70s, so it's kind of like a callback to previous times as well. And yeah, it was a really great experience. As a big Pink Floyd fan, it was amazing.
We showed a Sabbath concert too.
I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that.
And because your sister's wedding, we're missing 2001.
Oh, really?
We were supposed to go see that.
I might have to tell my sister that I'm not sick, you know what I mean?
And remember, this is an insider note. Remember when we were talking about why they cast? We were originally gonna start something because you were gonna go see that band. Remember?
What?
We were supposed to last night, right? And then drive back.
I was supposed to go.
Yeah, so yesterday, this inside baseball, when we were talking about the newscast, I was like, 7. You're like, no, earlier is better. I was like,
forgot
and it
that.
was Dylan that said, we should do 7. I'm like,
I
I
was supposed to
swear
be in
Dylan looked me in
Seattle,
the eye and
like,
said
at this moment.
7 would work the best. And then he
Yeah.
was like last night, no, I didn't say that. I was like, what? Like, I swear, now the case has been solved.
They canceled the concert on like Monday, so it was like very short notice, and that's why it kind of like threw me for a loop.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that was all I had for the movies.
Anything else?
For the movies, that's it.
No, sir.
TV show?
My hands are empty.
TV show, Walking Dead starts up really soon.
It's still going?
Walking Dead, yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So, get to
Rick
see...
dead?
No. Rick and Negan are gonna go head to head here.
Rick and
Negan's
Negan.
not dead. Wasn't he like a villain that got solved a while back?
No,
That was
he
the
just-
governor.
Yeah, he just came in.
Oh, was
Spoiler.
Negan the one where with the really shitty ending for the last season?
The one season Negan was like standing over them with a baseball bat. Spoilers.
Yeah.
And then we got
Yeah.
the whole season of Negan making Rick his bitch, and then we got...
So that still hasn't been resolved?
It got resolved kind of. Like, Rick grouped up a bunch of people, and they got an army, and they fought back, and now you see, like, on ending on a cliffhanger, Negan's, like, getting his army mobilized. and
Yeah,
they got
I'm not the
shit.
hugest Walking Dead fan, but I think you're jumping to a bit conclusions there, Tyler. That happens just in one season, so he's only been around for a year. He hasn't been long. Yeah. Well, we're getting into video games, so if you're not in that, you can tune out. If not, stick around. Probably newscast next week. Lots of good stuff. Video game news. I have a little bit I can start off with. They announced that LA Noire is getting a remaster, and it's coming to the Switch, so...
Cool.
I don't know how that's gonna go. Anyone play LA Noire back in the day?
I did. I never finished it.
Mm-hmm.
I think I sucked at it actually, and that was probably one like demotivating factor. Like I would just all the fucking like interviews I had to do with people. Like I would always say the wrong thing, and then I would lose, and I'd be like, man, like this sucks.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think I was really bad at it, but it is a really cool game, and someday I'd like to actually beat it, but
Maybe when you get the Switch.
no, I'm not gonna have time for that.
Yeah,
Someday.
I got it. I even took a day off work because I'm a huge Rockstar fan, probably my favorite developer. Really disappointing game. I still had some fun with it, but it got really repetitive after a while. And the story was really weak. So I think it's a very strange choice. I think it will actually do quite
It is
well.
a strange choice.
I think it'll do quite well on the Switch because games just seem to be doing well on the Switch because they're on the go and maybe it'll give it some new life. I'm really interested to see how it's going to do sales with it. I can't wait to see those figures because that's just such an odd choice, and it has the same open world like a GTA. That I don't know why they just wouldn't have done like a GTA 4 or something. Like LA Noire just
Red
feels
Dead.
like Yeah, exactly. Like Eleanor seems like a strange choice, but maybe it gets a second life. Maybe they're working on a sequel.
I like that it's a foot in the door for Rockstar and more
Yeah.
things on the Switch, like maybe Red Dead 2. That'd be
Yeah, I don't know. That's gonna kill that battery, but
cool.
yeah.
That's gonna
Well,
kill
if they
the
were
battery.
gonna do, like,
Yeah, you're gonna get half an hour of Red Dead 2 in the play.
But you can play and you can ride a horse while you're riding a horse in real life,
That's
which you
true.
can't do now.
Wow, I never thought about that.
Yeah, you
Wouldn't it
really
just
did.
make more sense to just throw up Red Dead 1 though if it was to get Red Dead 2? You think that's why they did like L.A. Noire though? I thought you said.
I said they're roughly 45
He just
seconds
said that could lead to something like that, but he did say like when I said like why not GTA, he countered with like why not Red Dead?
Well, I thought you meant Red Dead 2. Red Dead Redemption 2.
I meant the first
Ah,
one.
right.
Oh, the first one.
We're talking about old
Sure.
games.
Because I thought you meant like they got
damn it, Taylor.
I thought you meant they got L.A. Noire on there getting ready for Red Dead 2 to go onto the Switch.
When is Ruben gonna take your place? God.
We're equals. We're co-hosts.
I don't know about that.
To have a co-host, you need a primary host.
They told
Maybe
You
not.
could have
I
two
don't
co-hosts.
know.
You could have two
You
co-hosts.
still need a third person as like the main host.
No.
Yeah.
You can have two co-hosts. And that's
We're all
it.
co-hosts.
That's all you need.
Ah.
We have 5 other
Yeah,
co-hosts.
You don't need a primary host.
I feel like you do.
Even
Because
though,
you have
We
a host.
5 other co-hosts. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Because
So it's 4
just
of
means
us.
like also. So it's like you have a host, and then you could have like a co-host, but that's just like he's also a host.
Yeah.
So therefore, the first guy's also a co-host because he's just that guy's also a host, and he's also a host of that guy.
I'm
Or
gonna,
girl.
I'm not
Or
going to
girl.
argue with you. I've said my piece, and that's
Well,
I'm not gonna
You're
agree.
wrong. And that's okay. And that's okay. That's okay. We're all wrong
I'm,
sometimes.
it's an opinion.
We're all wrong.
October 7th, Geek Mania.
Yeah,
there we
we're
go.
making that.
Getting fired up. I have other news, but I'll leave it because I think Dylan has about the direct. I imagine you have news.
Yeah, there's a few
Okay, so-
things, but for the most part, like I don't know, it's kind of lame.
I'll wait until we talk about that.
I didn't watch the actual direct though, but
Yeah, me either.
I just
Yeah.
kind of hit up IGN or whatever website.
Look, that's
Yeah,
No, it was fucking Game. I don't know what website it was, but it was really annoying because
GameSpot.
GameSpot, because all of the trailers were there, and each single one had a 30-second unskippable ad,
I think
Still.
ads
and
are
it was
great.
the same ad.
Do you not have ad block?
I do, and it didn't even work.
Ads are great.
On our videos. I mean, we'll take it.
Yeah, before we get into Switch, the only thing I want to shout out because PlayStation Plus, I got Until Dawn, which was a great fun game. I think for wow. I think for
Wow.
wow. I think for October, we're talking about we're gonna do a
No
probably.
one's listening to this cast, that's for sure.
Thank God we got the
Stop
YouTube
3
audio.
times now.
I think for Halloween we're gonna be doing Until Dawn cast. It's a lot of fun. I'm not gonna be playing, but watch these guys play along and make a lot of good choices. It was actually quite a fun game.
Jesus, you said a lot in like a really short amount of
That's
time.
what I do.
You just leveled
I think
up.
I
It's literally
understood all of
22
it.
seconds.
I do a lot with my mouth. And then I got Just Cause 3. That was lots of fun. It was a brainless fun action game. It was lots of
Wait,
good
what game?
time.
Just Cause?
Just Cause 3. Yeah. So, and then this is not a 100% thing. I think November 5th is when Extra Life happens. We're probably going to be, I'll say we're 95% that we're going to be doing a 25-hour stream.
25
5! 1 extra hour.
That's a quarter of a century,
Yeah.
bitches.
No, we're gonna do 4-hour stream for charity. I'm hoping
Yeah.
next week we're gonna have the
Yeah.
details. We have to decide on the goal, but we've talked about a few things, so we think we're gonna do that. Primarily, most of us will be there, but keep your eye on that. November, I think it's 5th or 4th, so keep an eye because we will be doing a full stream and give us some money because it's not going towards us. It's gonna go towards charity. We gotta talk about that amongst ourselves, but we're very likely doing it. Come spend 24 hours with us. We're going to be doing gauntlet stuff. We're going to be doing fun game stuff. So as the chairman, I got some
Why not
spicy.
do 25 hours now?
What?
Why not
Fucking do
25
it.
hours
Level
now?
up.
Done.
Maybe.
Easy.
All those
Maybe,
nerds
but
do
If you
24
said it
hours.
already, it's too late. 25 hours now.
As the new chairman of Gauntlet, I have something fun and spicy that could be
All right.
announcing for that 24-hour stream. So stay tuned.
25
So
hours.
Not spoiler.
Dylan, no, Taylor, I don't want to hear your
I'm
news.
just putting my hands down. I'm just chilling. I'll go after Dylan. I got 2 very important things.
Bullshit.
Well, like I said, I didn't watch the direct itself, so I don't know every. I didn't watch like every game or anything. Let's start with Mario Odyssey. Did you guys see the trailer for that one?
I saw there's dinosaur and it looked really nice.
Apparently
Like the trailer
dinosaurs
and the
come
dinosaur
before.
both looked really nice.
Mario has nipples. I think we've talked about
I feel
this.
like that's not something we need to focus on.
That's what I'm always focused on. I
I
love.
don't know, man. Those were some nipples too.
Yeah.
Like they were pretty girthy.
On a scale of
Alright.
1 to 10, they're a good solid 11.
Hey.
No, I think Dylan, you said this off cast. this is a game. I won't buy a Switch because I'm not going to spend that much money for just that game, but I would understand why someone would. It looks great. It looks batshit crazy. It does. It looks like Strange got on there like, I'm going to make a Mario game. Like, it just like, it looks like a lot of fun.
Strange voice, eh?
Yeah. I can't wait for eventually, if I do get a Switch, this is a game that I would be picking up day one with it. I'm a little mad that I don't, but it's just that thing of like, I already have other games coming out for PlayStation. The Switch is a big investment because it's a new console, but it looks great. I think this is going to be... I think this will actually be the best game on the Switch this year, not Zelda. So there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty certain I was going to buy a Switch, and Odyssey, like... trailer, I guess it did show some new stuff, but I don't even, like... It wasn't the nipples for me. Like, I was already kind of sold, and just seeing it again, and seeing him jump around, and throw his hat around, and you can have, like... you can be a fucking dinosaur.
He jumps into photographs.
He jumps into I mean, that's been done before. Though.
Yeah, I know, but like, it looked much nicer than before.
Wow, shots. Super Mario 64 is a great game. But yeah, I mean, Odyssey, it looks great. It's such a wonderful like direction. I love like how where all the 3 like Mario games have gone. Like it seems like they innovate with it. Like Super Mario 64 was like in hindsight, it's pretty basic, but it's still like kind of quite grand at the same time.
It
for
wasn't
that
basic
era
back then,
of
yeah.
consoles and like what games were doing, and especially for the N64 itself with all these different worlds. And then obviously like Sunshine just takes like it just takes the game like this core concepts, add a couple new things, but it just like changes up the area and it just like makes a whole new game. And then the Galaxies, I've only played a little bit of them actually, so I do want to try those out before.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean this game is just like all in one. You kind of get a little bit of everything and a bunch of new stuff as well and new mechanics and whatnot, and it just looks great like graphically as well. And I'm sure the music will be great.
Yeah.
As always. Looks fucking amazing.
And they announced that there's a bundle coming with that October 27th. So that's what we were talking last night. Dylan has to decide: are you gonna wait it out, or because you were thinking about getting Zelda?
I think the problem is like I'm busy in the next couple weeks because Dishonored DLC, and I'm gonna get Samus.
Are we gonna get that DLC, or are we gonna get the Dishonored review fund later?
That's in the works. You know? It's because It's a long story. I'll talk about it later. And then also the new Metroid game comes out tomorrow, so I don't think I'm gonna have time to play Breath of the Wild before Odyssey because like I feel like I need quite a bit of time to watch.
You don't need to. Don't listen to the hype.
Well,
I don't know. The hype's still there. Like it's
you're
a
the only.
good game.
Apparently, you don't like it now.
I
still
do.
liked it.
No, I do. I 100% do. I think it's a great game. It's just I think when you play it, you're gonna feel the same way I do. Of it's a great Zelda game, but you've done this in other games.
Well, I've heard that it's a great game. It's just not a Zelda game. That's what I've heard.
Well, yeah, and I guess that's. But I feel like this game exists in other games already. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It's nothing new for games. It's new for Zelda. But everyone acts like fucking Zelda reinvented the wheel, and I'm sorry. Like it's like I give it a 9.5. It's a great game.
Right here.
It's just like I feel like it's just because it's new to Zelda. Everyone's like, this is a game of the year. Like. I take Horizon over that any fucking day. Like I think you'll like Breath of the Wild. I'm not saying that. It's just that it's.
I'm kind of confused what your motive is here.
I'm saying when you're saying like, oh, I really want to play Breath of the Wild first. I'm saying like it can wait. That's what I'm saying. It's not the horses.
Yeah. Well, obviously it can wait because I could have played it for all these months. I already have. I have a Wii U and I could have got it day one if I wanted.
But I'm saying if it was coming down to what do I want to play first.
And you know, play with it and like figure out how this console even works before Odyssey comes out. Because I like to do that generally because I don't like to like fire up a new console and like if I'm really excited to play a game, I still gotta go through all the fucking setting it up and maybe it has to update. And, I don't know. Whatever. I don't know.
Sweet.
I probably won't play Breath of the Wild before. It's completely irrelevant to anything we're talking about.
Right.
Anyone else have any thoughts on Odyssey?
No.
I think, the last game we got, like, kind of 3D-ish Mario Wii U, that was just kind of dropping the ball, I feel like. So
I love 3D World, so you're wrong.
Did you like it?
3D World? It's decent. I wouldn't put it in the echelon of the 3D Mario games. It seemed like
that's not what you.
That's how I look. Because when
what Dylan is saying, not what you mean.
What I'm saying is that it was much more linear than those games.
That's how I'm getting at. Like it was a Mario game on the same, but when I was picturing it, and the line with Galaxies and Sunshine, but way below them.
No, I don't know. I have to ask Dylan. I feel like
Ask it.
Dylan is lumping. He's putting 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy in the same category.
Mhm.
I wouldn't put 3D World in that category, not from a quality, but from a gameplay standpoint. That is more in the vein of like a Super Mario World or the new Super Mario Bros. For Wii U. I don't think it's a It's not like adventure platformer game. It's just like you're still like you're doing the side scrolling thing, but it's 3D. Like, is Dylan that what you're saying, or did you mean
Yeah.
quality? Yeah, I think, and you took it as Dylan was saying like, oh, the
Okay.
quality of the game. Like, no, it's like I think it is.
It's fun enough, but let's
Yeah.
just say I'm glad it came with my console and I didn't pay for it.
Fair enough. Yeah, I liked it a
Okay.
lot because it was just something. It was better than just getting another like new Super Mario
Yeah.
Bros. It was just the side scrolling. Like, we already got 2 of these in the past 5 years. Like, another one. Like,
Okay, then on
Yeah.
that note, then it's been a while since we've gotten that full-on experience since Galaxies 2. So I think it's great. Unveil it or bring it on your new console. I think it's gonna be fantastic. It looks beautiful.
The only other thing for me that was like really noteworthy was that Square Enix game that we saw at, I guess it wouldn't have been E3.
the Nintendo Switch reveal probably event in Japan, right?
Yeah, it must have been that. Apparently it's called Project Octopath Traveler, which I think
Yeah.
is one of the worst fucking titles.
We- Half Traveler, because I was like, are you
Such a
kidding
dumb
me?
title.
Yeah.
It's
Mouthful.
it doesn't even sound like a video game. It sounds like some like new camera or something.
Or a medicine.
It definitely could be a board game.
It
Oh,
probably is.
Born. I thought you said Born, like the Born, like that Damon series. Like, Born.
There.
Like, yeah.
I love the like art style of that game. I think it takes like the 2D side scroller and like the way it blends it with 3D. It's not like it invented that or anything, but I just like the
That's what they're saying
lighting.
on the
The
box.
lighting of it is really cool for that sort of game. I mean, I haven't really played a whole lot of Square Enix games in my life, so I don't really know like the quality, but I think it's the same. Pretty cool. The other thing was there's a new Kirby game coming to 3DS. It looks more like a multiplayer kind of game, like you battle your friends, I guess. So I wasn't doing.
Switch users, they announced that Skyrim is coming out in November. So that's good for
Yep.
Dylan when he gets his Switch.
I saw an article 6 years after the original. I'm like, oh, cool. I'm proud of that.
Dylan's gonna be picking that up with his Switch before
Doom
Odyssey.
and Wolfenstein are coming to the
Yes.
Switch as well, which I think is very. I just think that's awesome that Bethesda's pumping all their stuff out on there. Even though I think it's kind of weird they're putting Skyrim out again. Anyway, I just think that's cool. Like, it's just building up the diversity and game library of the Switch and giving it, just giving it a like. I feel like there's a lot of. I mean, I guess the Switch is selling really well, but we saw with the Wii U and Wii and stuff like that, a lot of developers kind of just choose not to go with Nintendo and like they don't feel like it's worth it to port their game over there. But I like that Bethesda's taking an initiative and pumping out some games for the Switch.
You know who keeps buying the Skyrim remasters?
Who's that?
JJ.
Really?
Yeah, he loves them. He gets
He's
them
a
all
bigger
the time.
fan of Morrowind though, is the thing.
That's what he likes to tell people, but behind closed doors, it's like Skyrim's my favorite.
Yeah, see, he told me that he tells you that.
But then he told me that he told you that, and he showed me a
Right.
video of that with a newspaper.
Yeah, I got a letter though, so it's like in written.
I got a
so.
tattoo.
Okay, you fucking
Mario
Loser.
Party Top 100. Really disappointing. The game looks really cool. They took 100 of their, I guess, favorite mini games, and honestly, the selection, the roster of mini games are really good.
The
Like,
trailer is like filled with bangers.
yeah, and they're showing
True
like the
classics.
classics from 1 to 3, and I was really excited. And I'm the same thing that the internet went crazy over yesterday, but I don't get how that's not a 3DS and a Switch game. And Dylan, you brought this up in the chat. They could port it. There's a chance, but I still don't think I just don't understand how you look at that game and just like just a 3DS game, And if they don't port it, which some games they don't, they never ported Luigi's Mansion 2. Everyone was hoping they'd do some sort of version. Never happened. So I don't know if it's gonna happen. I feel like it won't because I feel like they're just like, oh, we'll just make some like weird 3DS Mario Party game because our Mario Party games are shit now. So even though I still want the board back, I want Mario Party, whatever it is, 13, 14, it needs to go back to basics. We get out of this fucking car. They're getting negative reviews. We just talk about this Rotten Tomatoes. Switch it up, please. I don't want
I don't
just
think
the
Mario
mini
Party
games.
was on Rotten Tomatoes.
What? It is.
They did
I don't-
switch it up. You can play as Bowser now.
Yeah, but I want back to the basics. I want good Mario Party. I want a nice HD one for the fucking Gauntlet.
Yeah.
Like, but the game's
I mean,
cool.
I-
I guess, yeah.
Like I think it is obviously a great idea to put that on the Switch. Like, why not? Really, is the question. And the thing is, like like Super Mario Maker, great game. And it's like, oh, why not put it on the 3DS? So they did, and it's like that's a great idea. Like that's, it seems strange though that it took so long for them to do that.
Yeah.
Like if they had the technology, if they had the tools to do that before, why didn't they just do that like at the same time?
Yeah.
I don't know. Seems kind of strange to me. I guess that would maybe hurt sales. I guess, perhaps.
I don't think so.
In
They
some
put
way. I mean,
Smash it
there's
on
so many fucking people that have a 3DS as opposed to people who have a Wii U. So it's like, why wouldn't you have done that first if that was your game plan?
They put Smash on the 3DS first, and then it came on the Wii U, and I don't think it hurt any sales wise. I think
It's true.
you didn't buy it on 3DS.
But that was different because that was like planned, and that was only like a month, I think, right?
Yeah.
Whereas Mario Maker was like, oh shit, we should put this game on the 3DS, which a shit ton of people have.
Yeah.
So they did.
So I hope it happens with Top
Yeah,
Gun
I
Under.
hope so too.
Yeah.
That would be that's like a 100% buy this game purchase for me at least.
Taylor, what is your game news? Because in the car you're like, I got no game news, and he's like, I got this one, but I don't think I'm gonna say
You
it.
remind. Well, you really pushed for me to say it, so
I didn't push for. I don't push
you're
for
like
you to
Taylor.
say
I
anything.
gotta hear that news.
The
I'm
best
like,
cast
okay,
I would ever
Travis.
be on would be the one where you just sat there and didn't say anything.
Okay, so
Jesus.
Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, the fourth and final map pack, out on PS4 right now as of September 24th. We got
Yeah,
full
are
maps.
you liking? Are you
September
liking the
12th. Just from a
What are the maps like?
a YouTube point of view. I got their bios actually here.
No.
No, please, no.
This one is for you actually.
I
Travis.
don't-
Just one. You get to pick one.
Get to
Pick
pick one.
map.
Okay.
I got
okay.
one. I got this cast at least with no fucking Pokemon.
I got-
news.
Okay, one map. This is it. The map is named Carnage.
Oh.
Now taking place on a
Marvel
post-apocalyptic.
Is that like a
No.
playable fighting game character?
Is it
No.
like within the body of Carnage, the Marvel character?
That'd be cool, but it's not.
Would
It's
it be
like
cool?
it's like okay. Taking place on a post-apocalyptic rally track, this map features plenty of chaos and fun in the form of interactive traps and stylistic design fit for the next Tom Hardy movie. This map has plenty of
It
hero
says that
moments.
in the bio.
That's the official bio. This map has plenty of hero moments, different from previous maps, and should utilize where possible. I was like, I saw that,
Can
like,
you play as Tom Hardy?
I would not be surprised.
Can you?
You
You
wouldn't.
got to
that-
play as the
that's-
Predator
you
in
wouldn't be
previous
surprised?
COD games, so you could play
Yeah,
as
that's
Tom
Tom
Hardy.
Hardy
yes.
though. Tom Hardy's an actual human being.
Yeah, you have to pay lots of money to get them.
Yeah, COD has the money. They have like
Can
Ken
you have
Jeong's
money?
voice that you can use in the game.
Ken
like,
Jeong
yeah, Kevin Jeong.
or
The
Kevin
dude from Community. I can't remember his first name.
Oh, but they don't have Tom Hardy though.
Yeah,
They
that's
could.
not
You
Tom
know, I
Hardy.
would not be surprised.
Yeah. All right.
So there's that. Good old COD. And what dropped today was there's not gonna be a Geeks Creed. Oh, Travis. There's not going to be a Geeks Creed between now until Assassin's Creed Origins, but they dropped a new gameplay trailer for it, and it just really highlights the villains that hide behind the curtain, basically, in the game. It looks fantastic.
What do they do me on the curtain?
Oh, you know. You would know. You do it with
Villain
JJ all the
things.
time.
Oh yeah.
His mouth does
Big
wonderful
plot.
things.
But yeah, no, the trailer was fantastic, getting to see the gameplay, and just to see, it highlighted so many of the important aspects from the
They're trying to boycott the game.
I don't know if I sound like that, but, I'll take it.
Boycotting the game.
Boycotting the game.
You did get helium. You did into what the word? I'm
What are
looking
you
for.
talking about?
You ate some helium. I'm gonna go with 8. So
Eight-
you,
I-
your voice
inhale.
gets sounds similar.
Inhale would work. Yeah.
That's the word I was
But
looking
it's
for, but could
many
not.
more letters, also.
Well, not many. It's about double.
Yeah, that's a
It's
lot.
roughly double.
Do we have anything
It
else?
is double.
Gentlemen, that's fine newscast. Episode 147.
You know what? No. You know
No.
what? No, I don't actually.
No?
No.
Okay, well, Taylor, you want to take us home? Another great newscast.
Take you guys right on home.
I'm
you know
already
what?
home.
You're already home. That's
Joe's
fortunate.
always home.
I have to drive Travis home,
Well-
and then I'll go home myself, and it's a great home.
You
I
could
will
let him
have
walk
great
home.
homes.
Too.
I'm not gonna do that. You know, he dropped the C word on this first time this
He did.
past. But you know what? I'm the
No.
champion, and I have respect for people who have won the belts. Even my opponents who haven't got the belt yet. I got respect for you all.
Talking about you, Tyler.
Yeah, we're all champions here.
Wow.
You're looking at the first 3, and then even though I would say 2, you can't really count Taylor. He like won it.
You know what?
Really
I've still got it here. At the end of the day, you have to give up your belt. But that was no shade thrown
you
towards
know what?
Tyler.
Ruin's gonna take it from you in 3
100%
weeks.
I should have challenged this guy and said no.
Yeah.
That
No challenge him instead? Go for it.
there's a contract. No.
Continuity.
They've already signed
Continuity.
contracts.
Oh no.
They've already signed contracts. It's done.
But you know where
That's
you can
true.
find this continuity? Coming up soon, you can find us in the search bar with your internet connection. In that search bar, you gotta type in Facebook, and on your Facebook, you type in GeekVerse Space Podcast. Not typing in the word space, you gotta actually hit the space bar to put a space between GeekVerse and then podcast, because you're gonna find awesome content like the Saw retrospectives.
Yeah.
You're gonna find the next Geek Street coming up is gonna be reviewing and covering Assassin's Creed Origins. That's
Me and
how soon
Ruben.
we are. What? I guess
If
my
you lose a game, maybe I'll put on
Oh
Tuesday
god.
edition.
On top of that, we
Wasn't over here.
put out a Rotterdam 2.5 preview. You know that's coming. We started
Yes. On the beginning July.
I kid you not, we've actually started editing it, unlike the other one that failed.
What is over here? What are you typing like 3 inches in the air?
I have a very new keyboard, okay?
He's writing the script to our documentary for JJ.
That's not how a documentary works, you fool.
You fool! You fool!
I fucking hate you, James.
That's all I
How about on
got.
Twitter?
More most importantly, go to geekverspodcast.com where you can go to Twitter and get more updates than the Facebook. Because you know what? Taylor just literally, if you look at Facebook, he just posts what he's into. Oh, look, a COD map pack. Yeah, you do a COD map.
I didn't
You
post
never
that.
post anything
I don't post
comic
COD stuff
related.
anymore.
Yeah, you
Hear
do.
you?
There was a on that. Oh, no. It's always Assassin's Creed gameplay. He
No,
doesn't.
no,
it's
no.
just
I got my
Taylor
own page
verse.
for that. I got
It's
my
just
own
Taylor
page. You know
verse.
what? My page is 70-something thousand
What
likes
was the
up there.
last thing you posted on Facebook that wasn't COD, Assassin's Creed, or Pokemon? Or Jurassic World?
Geek Street, Rotterdam.
Oh shit.
No.
Longer than I-
You don't know.
You know what? You gotta make
God damn it!
Yeah,
How
but you can't you share it from somewhere else though, and then you can like read their article. You gotta
Oh,
like,
catch you
share
on the
it
web.
here.
Let's get out of here.
You can find us on YouTube and Twitch for our live streams, YouTube for everything else, SoundCloud, iTunes, Podbay.fm, Stitcher, haven't showed that one out in a while. We're everywhere as far as podcast goes. Please subscribe. Early episodes, whether it's Gauntlet, whether it's
Watch all you can. Not
our hard work. We'd really appreciate if you did a like, a subscribe, or a review. That helps us get in the charts. Last week, this week, last week because of
a
review.
week. A week.
Yeah, sometime this week you got us in the top 50 for iTunes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much because of our It review. It did very well. We want to get up there more so we can grow. So when we talked about reviewing movies, we can get a studio. We can get a place that has some AC because Dylan, this room's a little hot. I'm gonna not lie. We got.
I do have AC.
What? Okay.
I'm sweating a
I'm
little.
not that.
I'm
poor.
sweating a little bit, so maybe next time we'll bust open a window.
It's not my fault. You're just angry. If you weren't so angry, you wouldn't be so.
Hot. That's the way JJ likes it. Hot and bothered.
He does
Then
like
you can
it.
get us money so our Audacity will stop crashing, you know, stuff like that. We need your help.
Times.
So whether it's Patreon or your support, please give it to us if you like what we do. Thank you very much for tuning in. This was a fun news-packed episode. Next week, like I said, will likely be news and kind of a mini Mother review. Who knows? Hopefully a Star Wars Last Jedi trailer drops. That's going to hopefully be dropped.
Manfred.
I am Manfrodo.
That's what
Man the Shire.
Hold on.
That's what JJ calls me in the sack.
version.
Hold on.
Manfrodo.
Manfrodo!
So-